Another man done gone. Another man done gone from the county from another.
It's Jax. What up, Dallas? Let's go.
Martin Luther had a dream, but Freddy Krueger had a Ruger. Ex-Malcolm out the picture, so now we back to the future. Now we back to these losers embracing death like they used to. Poking out they chest, but listen, son, now you leaking that future. So who's the shooter? Is it your man? Or was it a fan? Or was it a stand? I would beg to differ. In hindsight, I bet you he say he was not a nigga. Plus Biggie Smalls was just minding his business, yo. Smoking an Optimo. Somebody got to drop the homie Biggie has got to go. And they couldn't stop it, no, I wish that they could. Yeah, the world needs change, but man, I wish that we would. So why the long frown? A man harmed from a 4 pound. His blood ripples on the floor from the war sound. His mama sitting at the wake, hoping the Lord's found. Another dead, another gone now. Damn.
Another man done gone. Another man done gone from the county from another.
George Eliot said that it's best to be what you wanna be. Fucking do what you wanna do, so I do what I wanna do. Bet you did it to floss. Bitch, I did what I wanted. Bet you did it and lost. Bitch, I did it and won it. Shit, I'm never coming back. Listen, I just wanna rap. Gee, I told you all of that. On about a dozen tracks. I don't give a fuck. I just wanna rap. Spitting fire on this track like a fucking Thundercat. Plus this mic is bleeding rojo. This shit is a no-no. Rolling in that low-low. Plus I'm from that Baltimore. Need a folk smoking on my logo. Ready for the woe and we so silly with the flow. Somebody got a robo. Heard the lanes and I swear they so too much love for the fame just to go broke. You said think I had the rap game in the show card. Never think I got the whole world in a rope. Gotta think of damn dog, you crazy. Is he the next Jay-Z? My crystal ball is hazy, but I don't know. Maybe.
Welcome back to the Insanity Check podcast. This is Chris here, and joining me live in the Insanity Check studio have from 3/5 Podcast, Justin. What's going on, man?
What's up? How's it going?
Doing pretty good, man. Thank you for joining me once again live in the studio. It's almost 1 o'clock.
Yeah,
almost 1 o'clock. So we're drinking, but it's okay because it's almost 1.
I mean, it's happy hour somewhere.
Somewhere, right?
It's also Saturday, so I feel like that's okay too.
In Trump's America, why not?
The things we do to get by under 45. Man.
Hey, look, I just say, man, in Trump's America, anything goes. Everything goes. So,
I mean, there's clearly no rules.
Clearly, facts don't matter. Truth doesn't matter. There are no rules. So, fuck it. Why not? If it's good, if it's good enough for the president,
it's good enough for me. That's what I'm saying. If he is setting the example that we're all supposed to follow, I'm pretty sure while he's watching his Fox and Friends, getting his Breitbart intel reports, he's got a glass of. Well, no, okay. If he likes his steaks well done. He probably drinks the cheap. He probably has Smirnoff in the morning. Yeah,
because I'm pretty sure that story came out when I was on break, and I was just like, I can't believe we took a break for the Insanity Check, and we find out this motherfucker eats a well done steak with ketchup,
like it's fancy. Like I think that's the offensive part, right? He does a well-done steak with ketchup like that's the way a steak is done.
This is after learning that he forced Chris Christie that one time to order the fucking meatloaf. So this motherfucker eats meatloaf.
Yes.
Meatloaf. Well-done steak. Ketchup with the steak. He eats his pizza with a fork and fucking knife. We got a goddamn terrorist for our president of the United States, man.
Hold on. So what did he have on the flight when he had the chicken? Like, I relate.
And it was KFC. It wasn't. He didn't even have the decency to have a bucket of Popeyes. He got motherfucking KFC.
I mean, if you want to take it next level, he could have got Bojangles, but nope, just straight up KFC like that. We have a literal pig as president. Just eats anything any old way.
And you know the thing that makes me mad about this is somebody that he's a rich guy and. High class, and he's literally doing the shit that they accuse us of, being low class, and I'm not saying, hey, eating meatloaf and well, I'm sorry, no, having a well done steak is fuck. That's fucking terrorism.
We have to have stand. We have to have standards.
Look, you can call me problematic all you fucking want. I take a stand somewhere. Like, this PC culture is getting out of control when I can't call people terrorists for eating a well done steak. I'm sorry, I'm call me Milo Chris on that one. Sorry, but yeah.
I mean, we have, as a nation, we have to have standards, right? Now, well, I will say this, though. Like, if you're going out to eat at a restaurant, you can't trust everybody, like, how everybody cooks a steak.
I mean, yeah, sure. If I'm going to, like, I don't know, like some if I'm going to the Waffle House.
Yeah.
I might not go with the medium rare steak.
Yeah, like, I think well done at a waffle, like, the steak and eggs at Waffle House, you want that well done. You want to make sure that they have thoroughly cooked everything. That is totally fine. I actually think it's better at the Waffle House to do that.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, the guy at the Waffle House is probably putting the steak on the grill with his bare hands. So I'm just saying, okay, there's an exception for everything there. But yeah, you're not going, like, he's not eating out of, first of all, he's too good to eat at a Waffle House. So he's not eating at a Waffle House, so we know that. So he's going to I think he went to, like, one of, like, the premier steakhouses in DC or something like that and ordered a well-done steak. Like,
that's offensive to the chef. Like, you offend the chef when you say, oh yeah, I want a well-done steak. But the flavor, the seasoning.
Can you imagine that? Like, first of all, you're already like, oh, the president's coming here. Oh, President Obama? No, the new one. Oh, fuck. All right. Well, fuck it. I got a job to do, right? What does he want? He wants steak. All right, cool. Obviously, it's a steakhouse. That's what we do here. We can do a steak. He wants it well done. The fuck?
And he also said if we could bring out some ketchup to go with the steak, he would really like that.
And if you've ever been to a really, really nice, like, steakhouse, they don't have ketchup.
They don't have sauce.
They don't have sauce. Like, you don't even ask for the A1 sauce, all right? Because that's, to them, is still a slap in the face.
Yes.
All right? So you're already asking for something. And like, well, I have fries. Do we have ketchup? No, we don't have ketchup. We have, I don't know. They'll make up some sauce they have for your French fries. They won't give you Heinz ketchup. All right, that's just not happening.
So what I want to know is, did someone actually like run around the corner to the 7-Eleven to get him the ketchup? I mean, if it's got Chris Christie out here getting his dry cleaning. You know what? That's what Chris Christie's doing. He called up Chris Christie and said, yo, bring me my ketchup.
Right.
But I'm in Jersey. I said, bring me my ketchup and my cheesecake.
Hillary Clinton had the decency to have the hot sauce already with her in her own bag. All right. She had that decency. She carried like the nuclear football of hot sauce and like had, 20 different kinds because she's a professional. Unlike this amateur we have in the fucking White House right now.
I knew Hillary was real when I saw that Louisiana in the bag. I was like, oh, okay. She's got the Louisiana, the Texas Pete, varying degrees of hot sauce for your varying different foods.
Look, I will be nice to white people with this episode and say that white people from the South, they'll season their food.
Well, yeah, because they had black people cooking for them. Right.
I mean, well, like, I try to be nice, and then Justin went in and kind of, corrected a little bit. But, no, I mean, they at least know how to season the food, all right? So, but, yeah, this ass, fucking well-done steak, man. What the?
Like, that's offensive. Like, I am offended for you're desecrating the memory of the cow that died for this steak.
Because, you know what makes me mad about that is, that tells me that he doesn't even have enough respect for himself.
No.
He doesn't even respect himself enough to flavor his own food, for a flavorful steak. What the fuck he's going to do with us, man?
I mean, we see what he's doing with us, right?
Right. So it's like, I already know you don't give a fuck about us. Just, God damn it, man.
It's a sad day in America, man. We went from, you remember the last party the Obamas had before they left office?
Yeah.
We went from that turn up to this.
I don't even know. And think about it. I don't even know what this is. Like that's the thing. Yeah. We're just like we're here. What is this? I don't fucking know, man. We're all just trying to make it in the next 4 years, man. It's just fucking crazy. Anyway, so didn't do a show last week. I went down, shout out to, Dexter from Shoutout Productions, went down, actually did some voice work for him.
Yeah.
So, first time doing voice work, they're putting an album together. Hopefully we'll get that out to you guys and let you guys know what you guys can check it out and see how terrible or how well I did. He said I did well, but I don't know as the first time doing voice work, if that's not something you just say to somebody who tried, but maybe didn't do that well. It's like, oh no, dude, you were great. You were excellent for your first time. And then as soon as I walk out the door, cut all that shit, man. We gotta.
You don't know if that was a good job, good effort.
Right. We're redubbing all that shit. You know, kind of like it was Gina Carano's first movie where she did they were like her voice is too deep. Just dub the entire movie. Dub her voice the entire fucking movie. You're just like, yeah, something seems off with this. Oh, because you dubbed her voice and. She's speaking English, but you still dubbed it in English. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's not a good thing. So, but no, it was really, really fun. I had a great time. When he asked me to come down there and do this, I'm thinking to myself, oh, cool. I'll have like a small role in the background. I'll let the other ones I had this one script. It was like, I swear it was like 37 pages. I was like, wait, I'm supposed to read all this stuff? I'm going to read this? Okay.
Yeah, man, they had you front and center.
Yeah, man. I wasn't, but it was fun. It was great. I'm really excited, and here's the thing. I'm if it turned out well, I might do it again. It was.
Oh, you had fun?
Yeah, it was fun. It was really fun with everybody down there, and just after you get used to it, you're like, oh, okay. The first time you do it, and I think like Rod and Karen were there too, and so Rod's always doing all his different voices and stuff like that,
right?
Because he got into it, but yeah, no, it was really, really fun, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, so that's where we were last week. Went out to North Carolina, saw them, hung out with them, and it was really fun. But we're back, and we got a lot of stuff going on here. If you're a premium member, I know you've seen a lot of changes coming out there. We have a bunch of new shows.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, and I'm really happy about this because I was just telling you today when I came in, I had to cancel one of the comic book clubs today because people had conflicts, and I didn't feel bad because I'm like, oh, fuck it, it's okay. I got two shows I need to put up already. And I got 2 more that are recording today that don't involve me, so it's fine. So that is what's happening now on the premium network. We have P-Funk and Koki. They have Molecules and Shit, their new science podcast. Really fun, really great podcast. Check it out. The Doctor, she's actually doing a a podcast on Doctor Who.
What else?
The Doctor Who retrospective. So yeah, I think they're recording episode 2 next week. Episode 1 on the 9th Doctor came out. I think when I was out last week. So we have that. I do have episode 2 of Molecules and Shit coming out this weekend. And I know they're recording episode 3 today. Also recording today is a Star Wars Rebels podcast.
Oh, nice.
Coming out. So that'll be coming out there soon, too. Stay tuned for that. And I know the ladies at Docu-Drunks. I just put out their new Docu-Drunks one. They did it with Phenom on Clarissa Shields. It was the T-Rex documentary. So
nice.
Check it out. That just came out this week. I think I put it up either Thursday or Friday. So check that one out there. Like I said, none of those shows, I'm not involved in any of them. All I do is edit them, put them up, and you get to hear other voices on the MTR network, which I'm really, really grateful for. And support them, support the premium network. It's $8 a month. Again, if we get, I'm telling you guys right now, you're not going to get it in 2 weeks. You're not going to get the 200. We're going to get 200 subscribers, but I'll figure out some other incentive because my goal for the entire year is to hit 250. So if we hit 250 by the end of the year, I'll figure something. Maybe I'll still do the song. Maybe I won't do the song. I'll do something else, but we'll figure it out.
I think we got to find a way to commit you to do the song. I think that's the goal.
I feel like everybody really wants me to do the song, and I'm like, nah, I'm not really feeling the song, but everybody else is. So maybe I'll do that. And, even I said it was supposed to be the musical episode of The Flash, but maybe if we hit 250 by the end of the year, maybe I'll still do the song. So
I didn't realize we only have 7 episodes of The Flash left.
This is what, again, I'm just saying. That's also why I'm not excited for the musical episode. We got 7 episodes left. We don't have time for musical detours. I'm sorry, we don't.
I mean, I'm kind of Camp Depot on this one. We're gonna need the breather episode before the sadness because I feel like it's just gonna be a month of sadness.
Bah humbug. Fuck that. No, but you're right. So yeah, we got that. I know next month in a few more weeks we have Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. coming back. So a lot of stuff going on, and I'm really excited for it. So again, sign up for the MTR Premium number. Another show we have coming out. I don't know yet if it's going to be premium yet, but we're going to have a new show. We just got the title for it called Secret Sauce, and it's going to be our Black woman, a show featuring Black women, and a lot of the women that have submitted stuff for a Black Woman Shoutout. So Latoya's going to be running this. She already has a concept for our first episode and who she's going to bring on and talk to about that. So we're going to be getting that stuff together. So, we might start that as premium first so she can kind of get used to it. But eventually I probably would like to have that on the main feed just because I want it to be spotlighting Black women out there. And like I said, we'll get into more of the Black Women Shoutouts at the end of the episode. But I just got to say, I'm really, really happy for how this is going. Like, it was just a whim. I was just like, you know what? Hey, you know what? Fine. If you're a Black woman, send me your stuff. We'll promote it on the episode. I think we're going to get one. I'm getting so many that I have to email people. Hey, we're getting to you. We're going to get to you. We're going to send your stuff in. We're backed up right now.
There's a queue.
There's a queue. We're queued up right now. I started doing one an episode. I got to go back to doing at least two. I might have to make it 3 an episode soon. But I'm really happy for this. And the thing that really makes me happy about it is I see there are so many businesses out there run by Black women doing different things. And like I said, I have 2 this week that are kind of different than things we've seen. Some are podcasts, some are makeup, hair. There's management. I think we have a copywriter. I mean, there's so many different things out there Black women are doing, and I'm humbled that I'm able to kind of help them promote some of their stuff out there because it's important, and I'm glad I can help there. So.
Yeah, man. Like you said, it's important to get their voices out, get their talents, their works, their wares out. Because I mean, if we don't do it for ourselves, who's gonna do it for us?
Exactly. So, all right. Let's see what else we got here. So I said about the premium stuff we have coming out there. Tomorrow, Deepam and I are gonna be doing our character corner on Iron Fist and Colleen Wing. We have some Iron Fist stuff coming up later on in this after we get through some of this stuff here. So we have that. Also, I think Legend of Tomorrow was on this week, so we'll also have a Super Tuesday for that. And I think that's it for shows coming out. I know we've already talked about. So after we do the Iron Fist one, we'll take a couple weeks off just because we've been having a mad dash pace for character corners. We'll come back and we'll finish up part 2 of Green Lanterns. Then we'll probably go and then do because we did the Wolverine one and we realized it should have been 2 parts. So we'll come back to Wolverine and we'll do the Wolverine enemies podcast. We kind of focus on some of the enemies that we kind of glossed over. Amazingly, we glossed over Wolverine's enemies in that podcast.
I mean, it's a 2-hour podcast,
well, right? And we still glossed over shit, right? So we'll come back to that, and then I think after that we're gonna do Batwoman, Batgirls. A podcast on them, so we'll get out with that. So keep an eye out for that. Yeah, and like I said, hey, your donations. Check out our the premium accounts, our sponsors. tweakedaudio.com. Code is reviews, 33% off, free shipping and free lifetime warranty. I'll give the sponsors for the Pool Law Firm, but all that stuff helps for us going to San Diego Comic-Con. I know I'm definitely going back. I submitted the application for Shanna and Phenom, so hopefully they'll get approved too. We should. I mean, they've been here before, so I'm really hoping that all comes back together, and we'll be back out in San Diego hopefully. And like I said, I got a ton of new equipment. I'm getting more. I feel like I'm getting professional. Like I feel like I'm getting all this equipment.
You're getting there, man.
I feel like I'm getting there, man. So so I'm really excited. I'll really hammer that home once I know they're approved. Once that is, things are going to start really moving up faster for that. I'm also looking to redesign the site a little bit come April and get a new theme and get a new look for the site. So, and I'm hoping soon. I've sent emails out that we'll have some merchandise and some shirts and things like that for people to purchase to kind of support the MTR network and everything we're doing here. So, all right, last thing. This show is being sponsored by Susan Berry at the Pool Law Firm. It is located in Silver Spring, Maryland. Susan Berry and Troy Pool are excellent attorneys in the Maryland, D.C. area. They are from the D.C. Maryland area, so if you're in those places, please check them out. The Pool Law Firm handles criminal law, family law, and personal injury. So if you need an attorney, you want to know more, head over to their wonderful website. The website is www.thepoollawfirm.com. That's pool with an E, so it's Poole lawfirm.com. Number 301-585-3014. And yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, and if anybody didn't know, like, our YouTube page is back up. We had a little problem last Friday.
A kerfuffle.
Yeah, it's just they need to get real. Like, Google and YouTube needs to get, if you're gonna have this kind of stuff and stream this kind of content, You need to have real people that people can contact. Like this whole system of, oh yeah, you just got to submit your form and hopefully they'll get back to you and you never talk to a real person. It's like, I get that for maybe personal accounts, but if they're brand accounts, shutting them down like that can be a problem, man. Like,
yeah, there should be a team. Like for someone as large as Google, you should have a team that's dedicated to these different brands, these different quote unquote verified accounts. They need representatives to interact with.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm going to say this, because we don't have a lot of subscribers right now on that channel, but we do get views. Like when Phenom interviewed Brittany from what was it, The Purge. That's like 20,000 views. So that's a pretty good, sizable number, but we don't have subscribers. So if you're listening to this and you subscribe to this podcast, do us a favor, head over to YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you got a Google account, you can always take those YouTube emails and just send them to the trash or something like that. But help us get those numbers up on there. Subscribe to us on Google. Subscribe to us on the MTR Network, on the MTR Network on Twitter. It's also the MTR Network on Instagram. Subscribe to us there. Really trying to get all those subscriptions up over 1,000. And then also there's the MTR Network group, which is a lot of fun. Like I know everybody has groups and stuff like that, and you get a little worried. You're in the group, the group is fun, man.
The group is fun. I think because of the size of the group. And, the size of the audience of the group, it doesn't have sort of the problems that larger groups would have or that more, I guess the larger, like if you go on Facebook, you'll find like those large groups, like your large black nerd groups. He's like, okay, I'm not sure, but like you can trust groups like Black Guy Who Tapes, you can trust groups like the Gats Pod group, you can trust groups like the MTR group, because it's a good collective of people. Like, what you're getting into. It's fun.
And also, like, I'm not here for... I don't want the drama, man. So we already know right now on the MTR Network group, there's no politics. So I don't post the insanity checks in there, but everything else we talk about. And there's some things that I'll allow. Like there was the clip of Mark Hamill doing the reading Donald Trump
tweets as Joker.
Yeah. Like stuff like that, I'll allow it.
Well, the group also like self-polices to a level, right?
Right.
The whole no politics stance came because someone posted something about politics and no one commented on it.
Right.
So like you, me, and Depot were talking like, all right, cool. So politics and things like, well, the group kind of spoke up, didn't they?
Right.
No one commented. That's not what they want here.
Yeah, we don't want that here. So it's a fun group. We're all there, and it's just fun. And here's the thing also, like we'll get on things like DC and things like that, but we're still hopeful. We still want the best for everybody, and we want things to work out. So yeah. So all right. So there we go. I covered the new shows. We got subscribing to the thing. All right, let's get into some
speaking of being hopeful while being critical.
Be hopeful. Look, man, I'm not even really hopeful on here. So yeah, so the first reviews of Iron Fist are coming out. Here's the thing. I'm still seeing it on Friday when it comes out. It's I think the 17th. I know the reviews have not been kind so far. And here's the thing also you got to realize about this, to put it in context, it's only the first 6 episodes. All right? So, and I think also this is one of those things that has had a 2.5 year campaign almost against it. That's going to color a lot. Like it's even going to color my review. I know it is. Because there was a whole big thing about having an Asian American Iron Fist. And if you had any kind of decency about you, once you started actually listening to Asian Americans and their argument for why Danny Rand should have been Asian American, it was a no-brainer.
Yeah. Like there's nothing inherently white about Danny Rand.
Right.
You could argue that there is something American about him, so that's why you say, okay, cool, make him an Asian American. That also adds an interesting wrinkle to the story, right? You can do different things with that culturally. Also, the other side of the argument, I think the more important side of the argument, who do Asian Americans have as representation, as leads when it comes to these comic book shows, these comic book media? Like, who do they have?
Right. And it's not a lot. I mean, again, we have Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., but again, that's not getting the budget of a Netflix show.
Right.
That's not getting, a movie. That's not getting some of that kind of stuff there. So, like you said, I remember when I talked to Chloe Bennett, this at New York Comic Con. She even said she was there. She walked around the floor and she had walked. There were a couple little Asian girls that they all dressed up as Daisy Johnson.
Yes,
and she was really happy for that because again, like you said, who do they have?
Chloe Bennett's story, like just how she got into Hollywood, is so interesting. And like, if you know that, and then you watch the interview you guys did with her, you're like, okay, she's about that action.
Oh yeah, she is. Like she is. Like, yeah, she is really great. And her story of how she got into Hollywood, it's also infuriating, right?
Oh no, it is infuriating on every. Okay, so I guess we can get into it a little bit, right? Chloe Bennett, her real name is Chloe Wang. She is a Chinese, like she was a Chinese pop star, right? And so she comes here, she really wasn't getting the work, but she said, okay, look, I can kind of pass. I can say I'm Chloe Bennett. I can pass. I can sort of do these things. And that's how she sort of got in Hollywood. And then I don't know how it came up with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but they wanted to make it a point of, no, we need Daisy Johnson to be Asian American. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a point, but we can't tell the world, right. But we need you to know Daisy Johnson needs to be Asian American.
Right. Yeah. It's, so it's an important thing. And I feel like the campaign against Iron Fist was louder and stronger than even things like Doctor Strange. Right. Like Doctor Strange, it happened. People were just like, "Oh, here we go." And it like when they cast Tilda Swinton, that became a thing. But other than that, the Doctor Strange thing wasn't as big. Like, but Iron Fist was always like there was a huge campaign. Like, there's no way that you Googled Iron Fist and didn't hear about this campaign. And we know that it even got to Marvel. And at one point, Marvel was considering it. Probably should have gone with it. And here's the thing. I'm not sure, because I've seen some of the reviews and some of the things I've said. I'm not sure that an Asian Iron Fist would have fixed some of these problems. But it does add an interesting question. And if it was an Asian American Iron Fist, would people not have been looking as hard at some of these things?
Well, so, right, that's the other thing. Because they had this campaign and because the response to the campaign, good, bad, or indifferent, was like nothing, that's going to color a lot of people's reviews of it because they're going to go in with that, okay, this is just another white savior. Like, they already have it in their minds, this is going to be a white savior movie. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's on, we'll talk about it later, but I don't think that's on, like, the actors to address that. That's more of the showrunners, like with Doctor Strange. After Tilda Swinton said the things that she said, the showrunners for Doctor Strange jumped in and said, okay, whoa. Right. You're not helping. Right. Not helping. But that does color people's reviews. Like I said, like you said, you're going to see it. I'm probably going to see it. I know that that's going to be in my head. And we'll see how I feel about the show, right? Like I'm going in there wanting to enjoy it. Like my whole thing is I like to enjoy things. I tend to, like when I watch stuff, I can acknowledge the problems, but I can kind of overlook problems within a show to enjoy it, right? Like, but I'm not going to negate that the problems exist. So the Danny Rand being Asian American, yeah, that's a problem. He probably should have been an Asian American for representation purposes. I'm not negating that argument. There's a lot of people with real pain associated to that argument, and that's a valid pain. That's a valid thing for them to vocalize, and they need our support. It's not on us to be like, oh, well, I enjoyed it, so your pain is invalid. No, I enjoyed it, and your pain is valid. Right? Like, both can exist.
Right. And so that gets into the star. So we had all this, and we got to this point, and people were campaigning for this, and then Marvel decided to go, just like Tilda Swinton, they had to go. They didn't just get a white person to do it. They get one of the whitest people they can get. Right. Like, Finn Jones is literally one of the most unathletic-looking white dudes of all time. All right? And you can say what you want about Danny Rand in the comics. He still looks, at least when you take his shirt off, he looks like he's athletic.
No, when you take, like, from the neck up, right? Danny Rand does not look, he's not that impressive, right? Neck down, however, is like, oh, okay, you have trained.
Right, you have trained.
You are a living weapon, okay.
Like, I'll never forget the first image that they got released of Finn Jones, and it was like him in like the rags
barefoot walking through New York.
Right, walking through New York, and I was just like, oh, that is not the image you want to release first, guys. Like, that does not help the cause right here.
Like, on the one hand, that is a Danny Rand image, right? Like, it's so Danny Rand. The problem is, it's so Danny Rand.
It's so white. It's just like, oh my God. Are you guys serious right now? You guys are really, you guys do realize he's not. And then it's like, who was the guy that they cast? The Asian guy that
Louis Tang.
Louis Tang. So then they cast Louis.
Okay, so I have voiced this unpopular opinion on numerous podcasts. I'm going to voice it here as well. Louis Tan is too gorgeous to be Danny Rand. Like, no.
I mean, I feel you on this one.
Like, look at Louis Tan. That is an attractive man. Danny Rand is from the neck up. Danny Rand should not be attractive. Like, I understand you want your eye candy. The eye candy can exist within Iron Fist. He can't be Iron Fist can't be your eye candy, right? Like, you're supposed to look at Danny Rand and be like, damn, Misty, not how? You and Misty, how?
Oh man, I'm sorry. I looked at him and I was just like, so Finn Jones supposed to fight?
No, he's gonna get his ass beat. Like, I don't know how it's gonna go in the story. I just know Louis Tan is gonna whoop his ass at least once. Like, at least once.
I was just like, guys, you guys know this is not gonna be good. This guy's over here literally on his Instagram like doing flips and doing kicks and stuff like that, and I'm looking at Finn Jones like, you know what it was like? It was like those basic cable DirecTV commercials.
Yeah.
Where Lewis is basically DirecTV and Finn Jones is basic cable.
Hi, I'm Danny Rand and I have DirecTV.
Right.
I'm Danny Rand and I have cable.
It's like, come on, man. Like, just come on. So it's like just the optics of it alone.
Yeah,
looks bad, right?
Oh, by the way, Louis Tan posting all this stuff on his Twitter, his Instagram with like the can't be faked hashtag. I have no problem with that.
Oh no.
Right? Like that. You're an actor. This is a business. You market yourself. I am totally cool with it.
Hey, look, man. If the people cast, and here's the thing, you know, Marvel's gonna get flack for this. I still do think this is the last, you know, this is the last mark of Ike on this, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I think this was his last, like, the Iron Fist decision was his last decision. I think that's when, because around the time that you heard that they weren't going with the Asian American Iron Fist is around the time you heard about Feige wanting to split off. You heard the rumblings that were going on in Marvel, and Feige no longer wanted to be under Ike. He wanted to be directly under Alan Horn. And granted, Feige and them don't. That's not Marvel TV. But then you also started seeing things like from you know, Chloe Bennett was very outspoken.
Yes.
You know, during Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. about not being involved in this and some of this stuff and what's going on there and wanting more diversity and calling things out. And then this season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. happens, and you know, you get the Latino Ghost Rider. You know, it's like it makes me feel like decisions have been made. That there's a prior decision that was made and they had to go with it. And you even see it in the marketing. Like, Iron Fist is not being marketed like the 2 seasons of Daredevil, like Jessica Jones, or like Luke Cage. It is not.
The Luke Cage marketing was like, it was brilliant for a lot of reasons, because it was low key, but at the same time being low key, knowing that all I got to do is give you a taste and you will run with it. They gave Black Twitter the taste,
right?
And Black Twitter ran with it. Like,
right.
They knew that's what they had to do. Jessica Jones was like, okay, cool. We know how we got to market this. We know who we got to talk to. We know what we got to leak. It was good.
Daredevil was Punisher.
Yeah, they just showed you.
Enough said.
They just showed you the poster with the skull and the bullets and said,
right.
You're gonna be here.
Right. With Iron Fist, you're just kind of like, oh, you know what? Maybe we'll focus more on Colleen Wing.
Like, so you notice that, right?
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, so you know, let's focus more on her. Let's focus on everybody else. Oh yeah, and here's Finn Jones over here, and it's like, I see what you guys are doing here, and I get that they're even doing the thing that we are accusing DC of doing with Wonder Woman. They're even jumping towards Defenders.
Yes.
Already, and focusing on Defenders. And so it's like, I kind of feel like they saw the writing on the wall with this. And, you know, there is one of the things, it's a Band-Aid, we just got to rip it off.
Yeah, just like, look, we got to take the L. Instead of fighting the L and making ourselves look worse in it, just going to take the L, go to Defenders. You guys are going to geek out when you see Luke Cage and Danny Rand together. You're going to geek out when Misty Knight meets Colleen Wang. We got you. Just be patient. We got you.
Nobody told Finn Jones, though.
Yeah.
Nobody told Finn Jones that there's gonna be an L here. So he went on Twitter and he decided to talk about. He retweeted who did he retweeted somebody.
Oh, he retweeted
Riz Ahmed about. Representation is important. Here's why. And he retweeted something that Riz Ahmed said, and Twitter went in because it's like, how can you be serious about this? Representation matters. You're literally in a role that is cultural appropriation, and we jump between whitewashing and cultural appropriation. I feel like this is more cultural appropriation than whitewashing because Danny Rand is white in the comics, but probably never should have been.
Yeah, like it's one of those weird things where I don't think we have the word yet to describe what it is, but those are the two phrases that best describe it. Because like you say, oh, it's whitewashing. Well, actually, it's not whitewashing. Well, okay, we don't have the word to describe what this is exactly. It's between whitewashing and cultural appropriation.
Right. And so he goes, yes, I am for real. Please don't make assumptions about our show before you have seen it. The characterization of Danny Rand may have remained true to its source material, but our show incorporates and celebrates actors from all different backgrounds. I'll go as far to say that it may be one of the most diverse shows out of the three.
And like, on the one level, I get why Finn Jones would want to defend this, right? Because this is a project he has worked on. This is something that he feels passionate about, and he doesn't want the show to suffer because of the perceptions of the show. So he's like, I have to defend it. I have to defend it. But shutting up is free.
So here's the thing. And I definitely understand people that are like, hey, and I definitely say, hey, the showrunners, the people who cast this, people at Marvel who decided to go forward with, who saw that the campaign for Asian American Iron Fist, who saw I know apparently they got treatments for it, they got they got enough information to make the decision, and then they still did not make the right decision. Right. So that is on them for this. But I'm going to take it a step farther and say that because I've been seeing people go, don't blame Finn Jones. And at this point, I said this yesterday on the Nerd Off, I blame Finn Jones too. And here's why. I blame Finn Jones just like I blame Emma Stone, just like I blame Scarlett Johansson, just like I blame Tilda Swinton. At this point, you need to know. Like, I think that if Iron Fist came out first instead of Daredevil, this would be a totally different conversation. We probably wouldn't be talking about this as much. There probably wouldn't have been as big of a campaign because at that point we weren't where we're at now. Right. But in 2017 and when he got cast, by the time Finn Jones got cast for this, that campaign for an Asian American Iron Fist had been going on for at least a year. At least a year. What do you do when you get, what do you think you would do if you were somebody who got picked for a role, for a character that already exists? You would Google the character, right?
I mean, work is work. Gotta eat.
I would Google the character. I would do the same. I did that. When I do the character corner, I Google the character to see what it is. So when you Google that character, there's no way in the last few years, if you Googled Iron Fist and Danny Rand, that the whole thing about the Asian American Iron Fist campaign didn't come up. So you see that. So at that point, you have a choice. Like you said, work is work. You got to eat. You have the choice of doing that, or, in what I believe, you do the right thing, and you tell them, I can't take that role. And the reason why I'm saying that now is, we're to the point now where these white actors are going along with that point of view of, well, it's work, and I don't really have a choice, and I can't really do anything, and I'm calling bullshit on that, because the only way for the less privileged to get ahead as if privileged people start stepping aside and saying, hey, if me and you get called in to do a panel on women in comics, right? We can take that role. We can sit on that panel, but we're probably the right thing to do.
I mean, so you're not wrong there, right? Like, if we got on a panel for women in comics and women in gaming, and it's like, yo, you should probably have women on the panel. Yeah, like you're not wrong there.
And like I understand what's going on, but what's happening is now these white actors are, and it would be something different if it was like a genuine mistake. Like, I didn't know, and now I know I made a mistake. Like, if his whole statement here was, we messed up. Probably shouldn't have been me. I probably shouldn't have taken the role. We're here now, though. I'm listening. I'm learning. I have to move forward with it. And I hear why you guys are upset. If that's the statement, I think we could at least move on. But every single one of these people, from Finn Jones to Scarlett Johansson, they all come with it. Well, no, it's still still diversity, it's still inclusion, and we're still doing this and we're still doing that. Even though I did take a role, I probably shouldn't. Like they try everything in their power to absolve themselves of any responsibility of doing the most basic of work that he had to have known. Like just like Scarlett, you had to have known.
Oh no, Scarlett Johansson, like you can tell from her statements, she knew, right? And I think the infuriating thing from Finn Jones' statement was the attempt to absolve oneself. Mm-hmm. Like he can make those statements and still say, I hear you, your pain is valid. But he's trying to invalidate that pain. Like you said, I think if Finn Jones had come out and said, hey, look, I got cast. I hear you about an Asian American Iron Fist. This is where we are now. But we hear you. Your pain is valid. If you give us a chance, we will address that. We will address your pain in this show if you give us a chance.
Perfect example of this is go back and look at Scott Derrickson, who did Doctor Strange, who directed Doctor Strange.
Yes.
His statement, that is the model. His statement was like, "Oh, we fucked up."
Yeah.
Like he basically just came out and said, "We messed up." Like this is what I was trying to do with Tilda Swinton's character and why I did it that way. I was afraid of it being a dragon lady. I was afraid of it being a stereotype. And you know what? But what I did was it basically overcorrected, and I still fucked up. I messed up. There's no excuses for it. Only thing I say now is we'll do better going forward. And at that point, you know what? You know how many think pieces came out about his statement? 0. Why? Because that was a genuine, hey, you took responsibility for it. Yeah. You didn't absolve yourself from it. You said you messed up. And there's nothing I can say to you about that other than you messed up. I know. Like, you know what it's like getting into an argument with your girl. And she goes, you know what? You lazy. You don't do what I asked you to do. And you're just like,
you're right.
You're right.
You're right.
You know what? They don't know how to act when you say that.
Okay. So going with that analogy, right? You have two choices. You can either own up to it and take responsibility, or you can do the classic nigga move. Wow, believe what you want.
Right.
Like Finn Jones essentially got on Twitter and was like, wow, believe what you want. I mean, we're more feminist than Jessica Jones. Believe what you want.
Well, dude, he literally came out and basically said we're more diverse and more like really.
Luke Cage just came out, my guy.
Right. That had more black people than any other fucking show we've seen. Like
it had a wide spectrum of black. Like
right.
I think when people looked at Luke Cage, like I'm talking about black people here, they're like, oh, there's respectability. I'm like, there's some respectable Negroes exist, right? Like they are a thing that exists. There was such a wide spectrum of blackness within Luke Cage that yes, you even got to see the black people you don't like to see.
Mm-hmm.
So
you got all that there. So it's like, are you being serious right now? And so you're going that route that you're basically playing, and it's even. Oh no! It's not even that he's a white savior because Danny Rand he gets his ass kicked all the time, and I'm like, yeah, that doesn't really help this. That's not helping here, man.
Right?
Not helping here. So yeah, man. I at this point, well, and I get the statement about hey, you gotta eat, But at some point, it reminds me of like Bradley Cooper saying when about the wage gap when Jennifer Lawrence was doing that whole thing. I'm gonna start sharing my salary, what I'm getting for my salary in these roles, with my female co-leads, so they know what to negotiate for. Now, nobody's ever followed up with him to see if he's actually doing that shit. But him coming out and saying that, everybody, oh, that's great. But that's what you need to do. If you're in a position of privilege, the only way the people that you're more privileged than are going to get a heads up is if you do something about that. You know, it's like you have to use what you have to do that. And so my thing to Finn Jones, all these other people, you're saying all this stuff to absolve yourself and pat yourself on the back, but what are you doing to ensure this doesn't happen again?
Right.
Or do you even think that it's wrong? Because at this point, I still have not heard anybody say, no, this is wrong. So do you think that you being cast was a wrong decision? And if your answer is no, well, you're not there yet.
Right. That is still the problem. Like Finn Jones, they could have even made we're going on the fraction run, we're going on the vulnerable Danny, we're going on the Danny that needs the supporting cast. You can still say all that and acknowledge, but in trying to do that, we ignored your pain, and look, we are sorry for ignoring your pain.
And as somebody who's reading the fraction run right now, which is amazing, if you want to read something, if you need something, to really get into on Iron Fist, the Brubaker and fraction run is fantastic. Like, it's a great way of just jumping in there and learning about.
It is also spotlighted on Marvel Unlimited. If you open up Marvel Unlimited now, it says The Immortal Iron Fist by Ed Brubaker and Matt Fraction, if you would like to read this.
Look, here's the thing. When we cheat when we do Marvel characters on Character Corners, all I do is I go into Marvel Unlimited and I see if they're spotlighted on the character, and I just take half of those books and I just start reading them. So that's what I've been doing on Iron Fist. But no, but even in that case, when I'm reading this run, I'm still, in the back of my mind, I'm still reading this going, still could have been Asian American.
Yes, he could have.
Yeah, still, I mean, and again, so even saying that it could have been, they're going with a Fraction run, or they're trying to, it still doesn't take away the main point, which is he should have been Asian American, because there is no comeback from that.
Yes.
There is no, well, allow me to retort about that. He should have been Asian American, period. There's nothing to stop that. Everything about Danny Rand could have made him, you could have still made him a privileged Asian American. And actually, to tell you the truth, probably would have made more sense.
Like I said, you add an interesting wrinkle to the character that allows you to tell different stories, while not changing the core of the character, right?
Exactly.
Like the argument people always run to when these things happen is, oh, well, what if you made Black Panther white? I mean, the core of T'Challa is he is a black African king, right? Like that's the core of his character. The core of Luke Cage's character is he was a black convict, right? Like those are core to the character. Sam Wilson, he has to be black because of the things surrounding his character, right? Like this new Captain America run, Sam Wilson Captain America, he has to be black for this run. Like it does not resonate as much if it's Steve Rogers fighting the AmeriCorps. It's Sam Wilson battling the AmeriCorps while dealing with people that have legitimate pain about the AmeriCorps and trying to keep them and trying to make them not violent. Like the tightrope Sam Wilson is trying to walk in the Spencer run. I get why people look at that and they're like, man, I wish Sam would do this. I'm like, I know you wish he would do that. That's the point of the book. You see him walking the tightrope and you don't want him to walk the tightrope, right? Like goddamn, that run is so like. I get Nick Spencer gets a lot of heat, especially now that he's come out with this whole we shouldn't punch Nazis, which I understand his logic. I disagree with his logic. I think punching Nazis is a very valid answer. Right. But I can follow his logic and be like, okay, I get how you got to this point. I think you're wrong, but I get how you got to this point. But goddamn, that Sam Wilson run is brilliant.
And here's the thing, I follow Nick Spencer on Twitter, like that not punching Nazi thing, like, and I think this is with most people. If a person says 8 to 9 out of 10 things that I like, and there's always that one thing, and it's not too egregious, like when people go, you shouldn't punch Nazis, I'm like, fuck that. That's not a game ender. Like, well, why can't I say the N-word too? Like those two things that we disagree on are not the same. So then that's where I'm at with Nick Spencer. I was like, I'm just gonna pretend you said that.
but however, he also followed up with saying you should be arrested for saying Nazi things, right? Like he thinks if you are on the street corner, like spouting Nazi propaganda, he thinks the cops should be able to come and arrest you. So I'm like, those are like really two extreme points. I get how you got to this point. Right. I just disagree.
Yeah,
but I'm not gonna write off Nick Spencer.
That's one of those few we'll agree to disagree ones. It's like I'll take that one. But no, you're absolutely right. He also this leads into the next thing I was going to talk about moving on. Because I saw that, I saw you. I actually avoided all of this, but I saw you talking to, I think, CJ from Three Black Geeks about this, or I can't remember if it was him or Charlie or something like that.
No, it was both of them. Yeah,
about the Magneto Secret Empire cover.
Well, so here's the thing. So the internet is in a tizzy because Nick Spencer's made Magneto a Nazi. He's made him Hydra. The only thing we know. Like, this is all from the promotional material for the variant covers. The villains of the Secret Empire. We don't even know if they're actually the villains of the Secret Empire. All we know is these are variant covers. And I gotta say that Magneto one looks hard as fuck.
I'm not gonna lie, it looks hard as fuck. So, and I'm a Magneto person, so I'm gonna get a Magneto cover. So not only that, but it's like, and this goes to something else I was talking about yesterday on the Nerd Off a little bit. While I get the comic book companies doing this, I need them to lay off the previews because they're starting to ruin comic books because you're getting things like this where the entire internet goes up and all, you're making Magneto a Nazi. And I'm like, did you guys forget the whole, you're making Steve Rogers a Nazi thing that you guys did like a year ago?
Yeah.
That turned out to be stupid because it's actually a really, really good fucking story and that none of you guys are reading, but you still hate. Like, stop putting these preview covers out there because I would like to see some market research on the increase of these preview covers versus actual sales. Because I don't think that is happening because a lot of these people, like, I got in an argument with somebody on Twitter about this. We're talking about how, man, like, I going on a similar rant about this a month or so ago. I was talking about Hydra, and somebody was like, well, that's because Hydra Cap is stupid. I'm like, no, it's not. I started going through, I'm like, and then halfway through the argument, I'm like, wait, are you reading Hydra Cap? She's like, no, I'm not reading. I'm like, oh my God, why am I arguing this with you if you're not even reading the book?
Right, like and Hydra Cap is so good because like you see the level of depravity in Steve Rogers. It's like, oh, you're evil as shit.
Right.
Like, I can't wait for this. It's either gonna like Secret Empire has to end one of two ways. Mm-hmm. Miles is gonna kill Steve Rogers on the Capitol steps, or Sam is gonna kill Steve Rogers on the Capitol. Like, he dies on the Capitol steps.
And like, it's a good story, and I don't get Nazis from that because it's not, and even like making Hydra just a Nazi organization doesn't represent what Hydra has been throughout comics.
It represents Johan, but that's sort of Steve's problem with the Red Skull, right? Like, the Red Skull does embody the Nazi principles of Hydra or whatever. That's kind of Steve's problem with him. He's like, we could be so much better if it wasn't for you.
Right. And you got to remember that Hydra is on world domination, and they use various groups. Hydra has they basically infiltrated the Nazis.
Yeah.
They infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. That's that whole Secret Warriors thing that we love, that they took a little bit of from,
A little bit?
Right, a lot for Winter Soldier and Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. That was Hydra infiltrating another organization. Like, that's what Hydra does.
They're
parasites. I mean, it's just so. And beyond all that, this is a variant cover. Yeah. You have no idea what Magneto being an enemy, a villain in the Secret Empire could be. He could be an enemy of the Secret Empire. He could be used by the Secret Empire, but not knowing he is. Like, there are so many different things he could do.
I would say, or on its most base level, he is a villain in the Marvel Universe, and they wanted to put him on a variant cover. Right? Like, they did this with the Horseman of the Apocalypse. They turned Miles Morales, like, for one of their variant covers for Spider-Man, it's Miles as a Horseman of the Apocalypse. Does that mean Miles is now a Horseman of the Apocalypse? No, they just took various characters in the Marvel Universe and said, now how would they look as a Horseman? And some of those covers came out like really well.
And so what people do with these preview is they go to the wildest imagination. Like, I saw somebody wrote a whole think piece on that cover, and I'm like, so have you read Secret Empire yet? Well, no, it's not even out yet. So you wrote a think piece on a cover.
Right.
That's not even like an offensive cover, like, let's say, like the Barbara cover with a Joker cover, or like the Spider-Woman cover that had her basically butt ass naked on the cover, like nothing like that. But you're because of something that you think they might possibly could maybe.
If it's the same one that I read, they acknowledge in the second sentence. Now, none of this is confirmed. This is just a variant cover, and I'm like, so why are we here?
So stop your article right there. Like, that's the end of the article. Like, that's where I stopped reading because it's like, nothing else. But this happens all the time. And it's not just on the negatives. It's on the positives, too. I was talking about this on the Nerd Off. So if you want a more conversation with more people about this, you can go get the Black Guy Who Tips premium account and listen to some Nerd Off, which is a really good show. Like, we do the Nerd Off. It's so much fun. It's 3 hours of us just nerding out, literally. But, like, good stuff. Like, there are so many times when I'm reading a book and I'm like, oh man, this is awesome, it's great. And you have all these people talking about, oh yeah, hey, reread, oh I love these and I love these characters, it's great that Marvel's doing this stuff. Oh, so you're subscribed to the book and reading the book? Oh no, I'm not reading them. So you wanted representation, you wanted diversity, you wanted inclusion, you wanted all this stuff, but you're not buying the books.
Yeah, spoiler alert, by the way, because Marvel's already getting me for so much of my cash.
You want to tell them this weekend?
Oh God, I forgot all about that.
Buy one get one free on Comicsology for Marvel. Put the code in Marvel. Yeah. I'm doing that after I get off of this.
So my plan was when David Walker's Power Man and Iron Fist ends, I was going to go back and get all of Riri Williams' Iron Man, Invincible Ironheart. I got the first issue. I was like, oh God, this is good. Okay, I'll just get the second issue. Oh, like, God, it's so good.
Comixology has subscriptions. I'm subscribed. I'm subscribed. So every other Wednesday, I get emails about, hey, you got your books are ready. You know?
So you got Riri, you've got Lunella, Moon Girl, and the issue with Moon Girl with her and Riri is just, God, they're not playing fair, man. Like it's
you got that. I mean, I know. I mean, there's a lot. Take the Black Panther run. Like so many people ran out and got that first issue because Coach was writing it, and I'm like, hey, but after that first issue, how many times have you heard people talking about it? Like, I think it's brilliant. I love it.
It is Black Panther as a political thriller, and now that we're getting to what I think is the conclusion of like his first season, I'm like, Wakanda, he is going to fundamentally change Wakanda.
Yeah, he's changing Wakanda and how it operates in its structure and but I remember after like when it first came out, like highest, all the sales and stuff like that was a big thing. But since then, I haven't seen anybody else talking about this book, and I'm like it's just. Wait, did you guys just go out there, buy the first issue, and then you just stop reading it? You guys not subscribe to this stuff? And like, it's like when David Walk, you talk about David Walk, he was writing Nighthawk. And I was watching people tweet out and write articles on the preview pages for Nighthawk. Then it got canceled. People were like, oh, I can't believe they're canceling Nighthawk. But even David Walker was like, well, people aren't buying the book.
So y'all weren't buying the book.
So what you're doing is you're getting the preview pages, you're writing the think pieces off the preview pages, but you're not buying and reading the books. This is why I have a problem with preview pages, because it feels like people are trying to keep up with the story just through the preview pages without actually paying for and buying the book. Listen, I'll tell you right now, when I go back and getting, like, when I do some of these character corners and I have to get some of the older issues, I'm not going to lie, I might have to go with some illegal means to get some of the books. But for the newer shit, I go out and buy them when I can, particularly the ones I know that represent me, because that's important. I'm going to get that America book. Because Why Doesn't Represent Me is written by, a queer Latino woman. And
America Chavez, we're Latino women.
That's what we need. Like, you wanted a book, you wanted this, I need to support that. I'll go out there and support this stuff. Like, it's interesting to me just to see, cause sometimes I feel like people are only doing the stuff and I hate to say this because it sounds like one of the Gamergate, but I feel like some people are only doing this for agendas. And I'll say that because I remember, I think it was last week, the issue of Champions, and I'm subscribed to Champions, but I'm not reading it. But I saw that thing that Way to put in there. It was like, we're lit or something like that. And it was a big thing because people were like, you're using African American vernacular and you're using it incorrectly. And this is why you need, African American writers and blah, blah, blah. Right. And fair point. Because I'm not going to lie, I read the line, I was like, oh, that's kind of whack. It's like, we are lit or something like that. I'm like,
yeah, I was just like, I mean, I know Miles he's not the coolest cat, but come on, dog. He's not going.
We lit, yo. It's like it's we lit. Like, I'm not even like into like, come on, even like you're gonna go on down the street and ask somebody. So it's like, again, I don't have a problem with people calling that kind of shit out because it needs to be called out. And people think it's little, but it adds up and it matters, right? That's important. But what I found interesting was, and I don't know if you remember that character they were creating a new black character, Mosaic.
Yes.
Have you been reading that book?
I'm subscribed. I read the first 2 issues. I need to catch up. I just need the time.
So I was subscribed to. Read the first issue. I'm not gonna lie, I did not like it.
It was painful. The dialogue is painful, and
it's like, and I don't know, like I think Shanna told me she read up to 4 issues and was like, it doesn't get any better. And I was like, God, because I have up to 4 issues, but I'm reading that first issue, and I'm like, when I tell you the first issue is so painful that I didn't think that it was a black creative team behind it. Yeah. I was like, this reads like some white people wrote this, and they have no idea what they're talking about. This is terrible. Then somebody goes, oh, well, it's a black creative team, right? I'm like, no way, you lie.
It's black people that have never hung out with black people before. Like, I'm convinced.
So I'm reading the book, and I'm like, if a white creative team had written this, how many think pieces on Mosaic will we have seen by now?
Right.
I have seen 0. Somebody put in between, like they don't even think there's reviews for it. I've barely seen any reviews for it. I haven't seen any news about it. I don't even know if it's canceled. I know nothing about it. And I'm like, all right, listen. I understand. I believe that black creative teams should have the opportunity to fail just like white creative teams do. If it's terrible, it's terrible. But we shouldn't also we shouldn't jump down the throat. Because Champions is a good book. Like, I hear great reviews about it. That one line was stupid, but it's a great book.
Especially, so the issue before that one, Gwenpool is in it. Without spoiling too much of the twist, they're basically tackling systemic racism and how it's like, oh, I want everything to be black and white. And Kamala basically breaks down, like, dog, it's not black and white. Like, people that you love and trust are probably racist.
Mm-hmm. So,
like, Champions is a really good book.
Yeah, it's a really good book. So, I'm not going to throw that entire book out because of one stupid little line in there, right?
But we got to call out the line.
But you got to call it a lie. But that line is basically the entire first issue of Mosaic. Like, every stereotype you can think of with this black ball player, and then you throw in some Latinos too. Like,
I get that, all spectrums of blackness need representation.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you're going to represent spectrums of blackness that you may not necessarily travel in, you should probably consult people that do so you represent them properly. Because I see what they're trying to do with Mosaic.
Right.
God, the dialogue is so painful.
Painful. I read the first issue, was like I felt like I betrayed my race.
Yo.
Not liking that first issue. Going, this is bad. And so I have 3 other issues that I subscribed to and paid for on my laptop, and I cannot bring myself to read them.
Like, I'm so glad we're talking about this. So, like, I read it, and I saw someone tweet out, like, oh, the dialogue is bad. I'm like, I agree with you, but I can't retweet that, but I agree with you. Yeah, it's so painful.
Well, it's like when you start reading Storm and you're really excited for Storm,
Yo.
then you get to issue 3 and you're like, I don't think this is good.
But you don't want to say it out loud.
You don't want to say it out loud. But it's like but here's the thing. I think that if we're going to call out, and rightfully call out white creators who can't write black characters, who aren't doing the right thing, we got to call the black creators too. It's like, it does us no good to talk all this stuff about how white creators do all this stuff, but at the same time, we don't talk about how that Christopher Priest run of Black Panther is hoteppy as fuck.
Yo.
And, it came up to my mind when people were talking about that one variant cover that had Riri drawn way too adult looking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you do realize that's how the Dora Milaje are drawn in the entire Priest run, right?
Yes.
Like, they're supposed to be 14 and 15-year-old girls. They're drawn like grown-ass women. Like, not on a cover, in the pages. And there's actually an arc where, that underage girl falls in love with T'Challa because he kissed her. Like, it is... There's some hoteppy stuff in that thing.
And
Queen Divine Justice.
Oh my gosh.
There's some stuff in there.
Especially when you compare the Priest run to, I'm not even going to say the Hickman run, because like with Hickman you get sort of flashes of Wakanda, flashes of Black Panther, flashes of all of this. Compare how Priest wrote Black Panther and wrote the Dora Milaje and wrote Wakanda. And even compare how Hudlin wrote Wakanda and compare that to how Coates is writing it.
Exactly.
It is a completely different vibe.
And also you got to I'll give this, not to take away from Priest and Hudlin on this. It's also a different time. Like, we're now, I hate using this term, but we're all now more woke and we're now more aware, and we have intersectionality, and and the writing should reflect that. And I'm grateful for that, but that should go across the board. And I think we should be holding all creators across the board. Like I want more, like when I say I want more diversity in the writing rooms and TVs, movies, comic books, and things like that, there's also a certain type of diversity and inclusion I want in there.
Right.
I don't want the inclusion and diversity that gives me things like Mosaic, which are heavily stereotyped and like the problem with the thing that people said about Luke Cage with respectability, like you said, it gave us different aspects of it, and it didn't preach to us one way or the other whether it was right or not. It gave us
it just presented it as is.
Right. That's one thing to do versus when you're heavily biased and leaning to one side on, well, no, it should be this way. Like I said, that first issue Mosaic, and again, maybe it's gotten better. And I'll go, and I was trying to read it today, but I was like, I can't.
Like the story they're trying to tell, I'm like,
yeah, it's
okay,
a good story.
I can get behind this, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just the dialogue is so painful to get through. It hurts.
So This is one of the things, again, like I said, I remember this because I remember a couple years ago it was the hip-hop appropriation covers. There's appropriation and things like that. And we've seen movement, like, I said it back then. It's like, I don't agree with their movement and what they're doing here, but we're seeing positivity from the push they're making.
Yeah.
It forced Marvel and DC and them to hire more diverse creators. That's a good thing. At the same time, I feel like some people are still too cool for school, and they're on some, well, are you reading the Marvel? Well, I don't read Marvel, and I don't read. I'm like, but there's good stuff there. Like, I get reading third-party stuff as well, but you made this push to get people into the big three. You got to support them when they get there and support these characters we're having so we can keep them going. Like, we want to make sure that, just like we're doing in TV and movies, that we show that, you know, our marginalized dollars matter. Right. We're going to support these characters when you give them to us. And, I just want, like, again, don't just follow the story through the preview pages, guys. Go out and read it for yourself.
So a good example of this in Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. There's a moment where Lunella's with her mother and she's doing her hair, and you know, Lunella, being a typical kid, is like, "Yo, mom, why are we doing this? I got important stuff to do." And her mom makes a comment about, you know, if you're going to be doing all this, you got to look respectable.
Right.
And I read that and I'm like, that is a typical response for a parent. Like, parents are whack like that. Like,
right.
that's what parents do. I saw so many tweets saying, and that's why I'm not reading Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. And I'm like, you are missing out on so much black girl magic by doing that.
Well, and that's stupid because I'm like, your mother probably said that to you.
Right. And
like your parents said, like, this idea that everything you read, every person in there is going to be woke, that's not how our world works in the first place. So you're not going to read this book with this little girl and who is the smartest character in the Marvel Universe because of one out of context line from her mother, which is a line that mothers say.
Right. And like the comic, it would be one thing if the comic framed her mom as right. Mm-hmm. Like if her mom, if the arc of the comic was, oh no, you do have to look respectable to be a good hero. That'd be one thing. But it's clearly from Lunella's perspective, and Lunella's like, parents just don't understand. Right? Like I get that. That is a realistic reaction between the smartest person in the Marvel Universe and a parent who just doesn't understand.
I don't understand. I don't get why people have so much problems. I don't understand why you would do that. Like, why you would cut your, I don't know. Like, I see so much of that. Like, I'm not reading because of this. And I'm like, so again, going back to my thing with Nick Spencer, it's like, he says one dumb thing I don't like versus the 9 things I do like. And that one dumb thing, I'm like, all right, like, I'm not gonna cut you off of that one thing.
Right. So Nick Spencer's logic of reaching, you shouldn't punch Nazis, it's not on some, we're supposed to be tolerant. It's more of a, we can't just run around punching people we don't like because we have rules and laws and yada yada. He even said, I mean, if Richard Spencer gets punched, I'm not gonna shed any tears. He gets knocked out. He gets knocked out. Right. Like for a while, like his pinned tweet was the remix video of Richard Spencer getting knocked out. He's like, "Oh, I'm still gonna enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. It's funny."
Like we at that point, like I think sometimes people get so caught up in this trying to be woke and trying to out woke somebody else, and I'm like, and then it's one of those things that It's like that scene in every movie where you have that one dude who goes to college and he comes back to his hood and with his boys, and he's talking about, oh, no, I got to do this. And his boy's like, nigga, you still a nigga. Like,
even if you in a binge, you still a nigga in a coop, man.
Come on, y'all. Like, let's come on, bro. Like, and that's when I see that shit from people, I'm like, I'm seeing through your bullshit right now. Like, I'm seeing through this. I don't want to call it fake outrage because the basis of it is real. Like, there is respectability out there. It is a problem. But nigga, you really drawing the line here? Like, that's the hill we're gonna fight and die on today. Is that when you're not getting the full context of it, and so you're gonna stay. Like, if I was to do that for everything and every person that said something like that, I wouldn't be able to read anything. So
I think it's two things, right? Like, I think part of it is an initial visceral reaction to seeing something like that, and it's just like you have anger about it. Like the HBCU presidents, right? That there is a visceral reaction to seeing that, and it can be very triggering to know that, especially if you went to an HBCU, to know that someone that works for your alma mater is basically a prop for Trump's "Look at me, I have black friends" campaign. Like, there's a visceral pain associated with that, right? On the other hand, there is a camp of performative wokeness, right? Where they feel like they have to perform wokeness to keep their audience, to keep their clicks or whatever, and not allow for a journey, right? Because none of us were born with the Bell Hooks book in our hand, like my co-host Ash says. Like, none of us were born that way. We had to get here somehow. So I understand the visceral reaction to some of these things, but at the same time, there are certain people in certain camps that do this for performance, right? They're not really about it. They're just trying to put on a show. They're trying to maintain their image, right? Like, because they know, yo, if I cut this person slack because they're human, then people are going to come for my neck, and I can't have that.
Yeah. And at some point, man, you gotta, you know, we gotta work on that. You know, we really do. And yeah, you know, like I said, like I don't want to cut. I don't want to say that. Hey, I'm not trying to take that stance of, oh, you SJWs, you're taking all the fun out of it. You're too PC. No, because we need that.
Yeah, we do.
We do need that voice there. But I just want people to be careful that they're also not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. That you're also, hey, listen, you know, you might not like that line in the review book, but read the whole book and then tell me how you feel. Like if your only reaction is that one line out of that entire, I don't know, was it 22 pages of that book? That's the only thing you take out of that. Oh man, like
you're also missing out on, and I had Steph from the Lemonade Show on our show. You're missing out on one of the few books that actually has black women as friends.
Right.
Like, and it didn't hit me until she brought it up. Think about the whole spectrum of the Marvel universe. How many of the black women in the universe actually interact with each other regularly and are friends?
Yeah.
Right. Like you get occasionally Misty Knight and Storm because they know each other, because we learned from Nick Spencer that there is a fraternity sorority of black superheroes.
Right.
Right. Like that came from Nick Spencer. Like I'm still tripped out. Like that came from Captain America. Like, I mean, that's why Rhodey wanted to put this club of us together. There's only so many of us.
Right.
Like Lunella and Riri interacting with each other. That really doesn't happen throughout. Not just Marvel, just in comics. Like, think about how many Vixen. What black women does Vixen hang out with regularly? What other black heroes does Vixen hang out with regularly?
That's important. It matters.
Yeah.
That's why. Look, just to let you know, I'm buying the Crew when it comes out.
Oh, bruh. That cover with God, what's the? It's not the Slick Rick album.
Yeah.
But I know the album because I actually have the album. I have it in my head right now, but I can't remember what it is. But I saw that cover with Misty Knight and everyone in the background. I said, yeah. Like, apparently it's just going to be a collection of short stories of, like, Misty Knight, Luke Cage, Black Panther, all around Harlem. I'm like, yeah, okay, yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, please. I'll have another.
Yeah, I'm getting that. I'm getting that. That's not a problem. I'm doing that. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as long as Coates can suppress his flaw of shipping T'Challa and Storm. Like, I found his weakness, right? Like,
yeah, man.
I found Coates' weakness. I'm like, you think Storm and T'Challa should be together?
You're a Storm T'Challa shipper. God damn it! I knew you were too perfect to be.
That's the thing, because I was enjoying that book so much. I'm like, damn, this is so good. And then he's like, yeah, but they still love each other. God damn it, Coates. We were doing so well.
All right. Let's move on. You know, I actually was gonna go into the healthcare debate thing real quick, but you know, before I do that, I gotta talk about something else because we're fresh off of Get Out. Let's talk about some Negroes in distress right now, yo.
Oh yeah, I'm going to see Get Out tonight.
Again?
Oh no, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you haven't seen it yet?
So the one downside of kids.
The one downside.
The one that I will talk about now is just scheduling time to go out. We wanted to see it opening night, but we couldn't. So we're like, okay, tonight we're gonna see it. She's already looked up all the spoilers. My social media game is tight. I've filtered everything. I know nothing about this movie. But yeah, Negroes in distress.
You're gonna enjoy it because I remember seeing you say we now have an official, and we saw this in the trailer. We have the official symbol of Negro in distress.
So
is the grabbing of the fist when somebody goes to fist bump you.
Like that actually happened to me though.
Oh no, I want to get the story from you.
Yeah,
so
okay.
What happened?
So I'm at work. I'm going to lunch. But okay, let me get on the elevator. I see this black dude. I don't know this dude. And these two white girls. And they look like they're having a conversation. I'm like, okay, whatever. I got my headphones in. I'm jamming out to Thundercat, whatever. And I see the brother. I give him the universal "What up, nigga?" head nod. He's like, "Oh yeah, what's up, bro?" He puts his fist out. I'm like, "Okay, cool." this is what niggas do. We dab each other up. I'll put my fist out. He grabs my hand. So I'm like, say no more. He's in distress. So I'm like scanning the room. I'm like, okay, I get his badge. I get his name. And I'm like, oh yeah, man, what's going on? What's going on? Do you have that report for our working lunch? And he was like, oh, you know what? No, I don't. It's on my desk. Let me go grab it. I was like, oh yeah, I'll walk you to your desk. Cause safety in numbers. So he hits a random button on the elevator. We get out and he's like, bro, thank you so much. Those white girls were so extra, man. They're like, oh my God, you're so tall. Do you like rap? We love 21 Savage. 21. And I'm like, bro, you gave me the distress signal. I had to help. And he was like, I didn't even know if it would work.
Oh, man.
But he grabbed my fist and I'm just like, no, yeah, he's in distress. Let's see what I can do to help out. Like that, we actually have we have a bat signal.
Yo, it actually works.
It works.
It works. I'm crying right now. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, man.
Because I'm just going to dap him over like, okay, whatever. It's what black people do.
He hit the Negro in distress.
He's like, save me.
Oh, that is amazing.
Because I've been in that situation, right? Like, even at my job, people want to, oh my God, you're so tall. Do you play basketball? I'm like, I work here. Fuck you, mean. If I could play basketball, you honestly think I would be here right now?
Right. Come on, man. Oh man, that is awesome. That is amazing. I can't.
And when it happened, you're just like, okay, no, yeah, he's seen it out. He knows what to do. This is what if you're ever in distress or you ever need to send a warning to someone, right? Like if you see someone trying to apply for your job and they're like, oh yes, we have great diversity. You just extend that fist. And then when they extend theirs, grab it and let them know you need to get out.
I need to get out. Oh man. So speaking of Negroes in distress that we've been seeing this week, we got two. So first up, I really feel sad for the first one. I don't feel too sad for the second one. Our man Van Jones, man, is
So I was angry at Van Jones at first. Then I calmed down and thought about it. Van Jones we were watching a man, I think when Rod brought it up, that's when I looked at it differently. We're watching a man be gaslit to death. Like we were watching death by gaslighting with Van Jones.
It is amazing, and I feel so bad for this dude. And so this is him trying to defend. Again, this has happened the week we didn't have a show when Donald Trump had given his presidential speech to the Congress.
But before we start with that, what was the Republicans' one of their main knocks on Obama? He reads from a teleprompter. Then we spent 3 days giving Donald Trump credit for reading. Like that was the bar. He looked so presidential because he read.
Because that is what we do here.
That's the bar. That's how low the bar is.
That is how low the bar is here. So here we go. This is Van Jones giving us the Negro in distress symbol.
Joining me now, also with me, CNN political commentator Angela Rye. So Van, you said this quote, that was one of the most extraordinary moments you've ever seen in American politics. Why?
Well, because of the ability for the emotionality to connect with the political agenda of Donald Trump. Usually the emotions that he's playing on are very, very dark, very fear-based. What I think that liberals have to take away from it is that the virus is mutating. He is developing new weaponry that I don't think that liberals expected him to be able to develop so quickly.
He read off a teleprompter, Van Jones.
Talk about. Can we talk about the virus is mutating? He's developing the T virus. The T virus is mutating. This is stage 2.
He read off a teleprompter, Van Jones. Bruh. This is what happens when CNN sits you beside Jeffrey Lord for 18 months.
No, that's what I'm saying, right?
What happens with that?
Van Jones is so starved for some semblance of normalcy. He just wants things to go back to the way they were. I feel like that's why people are pining for George Bush, because yes, until Donald Trump, he was the worst president in American history, but at least government functioned regularly. It was a normal.
We had normalcy.
And he's so starved for that Donald Trump acknowledging the widow of someone that was killed on a mission that he authorized that he shouldn't have authorized. That's something else.
And to say that it was the most stunning thing he's ever seen, this happens all the time though.
Yes.
Presidents always acknowledge the fallen. and they have usually some of the family members there. Like, this is not like something that Donald Trump did that nobody else before him has done. This is called normal.
And that's why Van Jones thought it was extraordinary. So,
Right.
Okay, we're getting back to normal, guys. Also, interesting side note: the parents of the man who was killed in that raid did not show up. The father is on record as saying, "I don't want to speak to Donald Trump."
Yeah, interesting.
Most of his speeches are terrible. You have Twitter Trump, which is terrible, and then you have teleprompter Trump, which is barely any better. This was an effective speech. He was able to do things you haven't seen him do before. His agenda is still just as awful.
He read off a teleprompter, and that is something we've never seen him do before. Like, the bar is so low right now.
But Van
Van Jones is tripping over it. But no, you're right. It's like, I just want to give him a hug.
Like, he's acknowledging how low the bar is. Say, Twitter Trump is terrible. Teleprompter Trump, not that much better, but it's not this.
It was full of lies and the same kind of stuff he always does. But he now has a set of weapons you've not seen him use before. If he starts doing this kind of thing instead of those crazy rallies over and over again, you begin to create problems for Democrats that I don't think they're ready for.
Do you agree, Angela, with Van that this was presidential?
I definitely don't think that this is presidential, and it could be that I just don't understand the standard that we're using. But if by presidential we're talking about becoming a leader on the world stage, one that Americans everywhere could be hopeful about and supportive of, then I think the answer is a resounding no. Donald Trump took 61 minutes to tell 51 lies, and they aren't just lies about his record that promised jobs and hope.
What about that specific moment that we're talking about?
Sure, I think that just demonstrates his ability to be a decent human being. But I don't think that overall his speech, this joint address to Congress, demonstrates his ability, nor was it presidential. So, again, I think that we have to go back to the fact that he talked about creating jobs that he did not create. He talks about...
Oh, it stopped real quick for us. Sorry about that. But, oh, yeah. But, oh, here we go. Has it started back up?
He met that standard, and I'm not willing to give him a pass because the bar is low.
Van?
Well, listen, I appreciate the passion.
So that's Van Jones kind of coming out of it real there. He was like,
started blinking real fast.
Right. He's like started blinking real fast. Like basically what it is Angela was the Flash on the camera. They kind of snapped him out of it real quick. That's what that was right there. So yeah.
Part of the thing is that President Obama set a standard, as far as I'm concerned, that's not likely to be met soon.
That's fair.
I don't think that. So I don't think President Obama is a standard. We've had some great presidents, and we've had some awful presidents, and then we've had President Trump. And the problem that you have with...
He's acknowledged. And like you're watching him trying to rationalize it in his head. You are watching him trying to make sense of what is happening around him.
I've been seeing people say that we need to kick Van Jones out of the black community. We need to kick him out of the cookout. No, we need to actually invite Van Jones to as many cookouts as possible. Because this brother needs to sit at a table full of black people. Yeah, no. He's been sitting around too many of these racists. Like literally, watch CNN, and when Van Jones is on, they literally put him next to the most racist white commentators they have.
KKK sympathizer Jeffrey Lord.
Yes, like he puts them next to them. And he had remember that time that Van Jones had to put his hand on Jeffrey Lord's shoulder?
Yes.
To keep from choking him? Like, this is where Van Jones is at right now. Like, this man is giving us so many Negro. Like, I'm really thinking about starting a Negro in distress segment on this show. Because this Negro is in so much distress right now.
I'm with
and
you.
Angela is actually kicking him out of it because he's like, oh, man. This is the first time I've ever seen Van Jones and actually even a little bit with Angela, where they brought on two black commentators who were actually technically on the same side. Like they literally only brought Angela on to combat Van Jones because he said that President Trump was presidential. But 9 times out of 10, Van Jones and Angela are going to agree on most topics. This is the first time Van Jones ever been against somebody who's actually been rational and not a piece of shit.
Well, they even tacitly, like, the underlying principle of the bar is low, they agree on that.
Right.
They agree that the standard of Obama is unreachable. They agree on all of these things. It's just, Angela's trying to be like, so if we agree on all of these things, then you have to acknowledge that this wasn't presidential, right?
President Trump has not even touched, until now, hasn't even touched the shoe of the worst of them. And suddenly, though, I think Democrats have expected that he's going to stay that bad. So much of what the liberals have made an issue of isn't just his agenda, but it's his temperament and his tone and his team. He now seems to have developed a team that since that awful inaugural address, that carnage address, has now been able to come up with a different playbook for public addresses. Everybody got mad at me for saying this, but I'm going to tell you, watch the bounce he gets out of that speech and watch how he starts to use a different playbook. Liberals are going to have to, we're going to have to reset. He is not always going to just hand us opportunities to go after him. If he starts to improve his performance like that, liberals are going to have to reset how we deal with this guy.
So Van, and I hear. Go ahead, Brianna.
Go on, Angela. I guess is it undeniable, as Van is saying, that this was just a better Trump, and that is a challenge to Democrats?
No, I think it was a different Trump, and he's demonstrated his ability to read off of a teleprompter before. I think that Van is right that we shouldn't expect that he's going to be as predictable as maybe we want.
Stopped again, but I'm gonna stop it here anyway, just because. Yeah, Van is basically telling us, he's giving the signals, man.
He really is, and like. So with this clip, I kind of get what he's trying to say. He's trying to say, look, the virus is evolving. He can now connect emotionally. And Angela's like, no, he can't. Because guess what? So Frank Luntz had a focus group right after the speech. Mm-hmm. And in that focus group, there was a black woman.
Oh, I wish I still had that. I wish I had the clip. But yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I know, yeah. And she said, what do you think of the speech? She said, okay, I mean, it was a nice speech, but guess what? 6 a.m. Saturday, Trump will get on Twitter, and I'll see exactly what he really thinks. He could read off a teleprompter, but, we will see the real Donald Trump 6 a.m. And what did he do 6 a.m. Saturday morning right after that speech?
Wasn't that when he was accusing? Isn't that when he accused President Obama of wiretapping his office?
Yes.
Yeah. So literally, like, and what kills Van Jones's comments that here is, I think within 24 hours is also when it came out that Jeff Sessions had met with the Russian ambassador. So literally the Trump campaign, because at that point, the next day, the Trump campaign themselves, I keep saying the campaign, but they're running the presidency like a campaign. The Trump administration came out, and they themselves were shocked that they got so many positive reviews for that speech, because like Angela said, 51 lies in 62 minutes, which is got to be a new record, right? So they didn't release their new Muslim ban. They didn't do anything for that 12 hours
because they knew, let's milk the goodwill for a
right,
little bit.
Because that's all they were going to get, and then the Jeff Sessions thing dropped, and so it's like this we went 8 years without a real scandal in Obama's.
The biggest scandal during the Obama administration was something that he told us about, right? Like the civilian casualties for drone strikes. We don't know about that unless the Obama administration tells us about that.
Yes.
Right? Like, yes, WikiLeaks played a part in that, but then the Obama administration made it a point to say, hey, when we do this thing as a measure of accountability, we have to report on how many innocent people we killed.
Yeah.
Like that we have to do that, because if we're going to do this, if we're going to sort of take the humanity out of war, we can't do like, collateral damage. No, you have to tell me how many civilians we killed.
We can't go 24 hours without Trump having some major scandal in his administration.
Did you hear the new thing about Michael Flynn?
Oh, yeah, that he was actually, when he was working for the Trump campaign, he was actually an agent of a foreign government.
While they were fast-tracking him to be national security advisor, he was a foreign agent of Turkey! Of Turkey! My God.
Yeah. So, yeah.
But her emails, dog.
Her emails, though. You just got to remember, anytime something happens in the Trump campaign, just remember her emails. Also in Negro in Distress news, and this is a Negro that I don't really give too much about. Fuck about. Our man Ben Carson.
So, okay, I was told to tell you this because you would get it, because you've seen Get Out. Since we've seen Ben Carson, we haven't seen Dick Cheney.
Yes. No, I've seen that. I heard that. And that is hilarious.
I say apparently once I see Get Out, that will make sense to me.
It will make so much fucking sense to you, and you are you're gonna laugh like you're gonna either hit me up on Twitter or you're gonna text me once you see, because you're gonna fucking get it. And yeah, it is fucking ridiculous. So Ben Carson came out and told us that apparently there were immigrants that came out at the bottom of a slave ship. Some immigrants came here on the bottom of a slave ship, referring to slaves that came over during the transatlantic slave trade because, you know, like you said, Chiwetel starred in 12 Years an Immigrant, not 12 Years a Slave, and yeah, so.
This is so infuriating because it's like we minimize what slavery is so often, right? Like Texas is trying to make it, what is it, instead of the transatlantic slave trade, what are they trying to call it in Texas?
They're basically trying to call it immigration. No, they are. The migration. Like the transatlantic migration.
That's what they're trying to call it.
What makes me so mad about people like black Republicans like Ben Carson is they use so much of this white supremacy language in saying things like this. So to you know, with Ben Carson saying this, it comes off as, oh well, yeah, just a slip of the tongue. No, it's not a slip of the tongue, because what he's saying is literally the things you hear from white supremacists when they basically call, and what they're doing in our textbooks, trying to minimize what slavery actually was.
And he doubled down on it, by the way.
Yeah, and he doubled down on it. Wasn't, and then the third time was a charm when he finally came back and tried to finally walk it back.
Right.
But
like let the slave ship. Let's just focus on the horror that is the slave ship. And when you hear what actually happened on slave ships, ask yourself how any decent human being could call this immigration. You are chained to other human beings. There is no space to sit or stand. You are just chained to them laying down. There are no bathrooms, so you gotta go. So you are lying in your own filth and the filth of the people next to you. When they come down to feed you, they give you just enough. They're just trying to keep the stock alive. If someone dies next to you, they're just dead. If enough of the people on the line of people you are chained to are dead, they throw the whole line out. Because rather than unchain you and chain you to another line, they said, just throw the whole stock out. It's no good anymore.
This is not like today when you fly out of JFK and go to Iceland or, you know, England or something like that. And so, you know, there's a 5-hour flight to Iceland. I guess it's maybe 7 hours to England or something like that.
Yeah.
We're not talking hours. We're talking weeks.
Months. Weeks and months on the sea.
On the sea.
With everyone else's diseases, with all of the death, with the
chained to somebody else, and feces and filth and.
That is not, by no stretch is that immigration. Like, part of what gets me so angry when people say, oh, the Irish were slaves too. The Irish were not captured and chained and sent here like chattel, right? Like, I don't even think animals were treated this badly on ships.
No.
Right? Like, at least animals have their own living areas. No, you are chained to the person. You are, whatever happens, if they die, they die. You better pray the person next to you doesn't die, because that could mean you're getting thrown overboard. Right? Like, it's not that they set you free. No, they toss you into the ocean where you drown to death chained to people. Your families, if you are lucky enough to be on the same boat as your family, you get to watch them suffer the same conditions as you. And if you are lucky enough to watch them suffer and hopefully live through all of this hell, when you actually land, you are split up. Right? Like, you will not see your wife again. You will not see your children again.
Well, to be fair on that point, the Trump administration is talking about now splitting up families who illegally immigrate here now, splitting up families now at the border. So, you know, immigration. To be fair,
instead of splitting them up when they get here, we're just gonna, split them up before they get here, right? Mm-hmm. Like, slavery was hell. It is the American Holocaust, right? Like, we can all acknowledge how horrific the Holocaust was. Slavery was a centuries-long American Holocaust. I'm just talking about slavery itself. I'm not talking about Jim Crow, Reconstruction, the 50s and 60s.
The shit that came after slavery.
Right.
That was still bad. We're not talking about that. Just that first part right there that lasted, 250, 260 years of slavery and this goes back to my other thing too, that I talk about in this Negro, we're talking about Negroes in distress, and then we'll get into this healthcare stuff. When we see these numbers of people, like I'm always seeing that the breakouts of the ethnic groups that, whether the ones that supported Trump and things like that. I want to start seeing the breakdowns of some of these. Like, if you notice the breakdowns of these groups, you'll notice that the out of the minority groups that are there, is the most vulnerable ones and the ones that have been most taken advantage of by this country. Like, we never really break out the numbers of Native Americans, but I believe that might be the only number of people that are higher than black women who voted against Trump. Yeah. Then you have black women, then you have black men, then you have Latinos and Latinas, and even if we break that Latino number, it depends on what we're talking about. Are we talking about Cubans? Are we talking about like that matters because and even in that number of black breakdown, I think when you break down the number of black people who are descendants of actual slaves versus those brought from those who literally immigrated here, not through slavery, but literally immigrated here from Africa and are African immigrants, things like that. Like
first or second generation.
First, second generation. That's a different thing because the ones of us that are most against what we're seeing from Donald Trump are the ones that literally our generations have suffered through this. We know what we see from Donald Trump because we have been there. Like, I see all these people, whoa, you gotta give him a chance and we gotta do this. And I'm looking at these people like,
give him a chance to do what?
Like, have you not seen, like, and it's always the one of us that are most, who know our history, who have seen this. Like I said, that Native American number of people who support Donald Trump, it's probably got 100% against. Because, like, this is a group that literally has been wiped out by people like Donald Trump. Right.
So the interesting thing in the breakdown, two interesting things in the breakdown. If you break it down by religion, American Jews overwhelmingly, like I want to say 80 to 20, supported Hillary Clinton. Because, this is we've seen this story before. We've lived through this story. Nah, bro. So if you want to go the Latino route, the interesting thing with Cubans, first, second generation Cuban Americans tend to support the GOP no matter what, just because the sanctuary that they were given from Castro by Republicans. Mm-hmm. And so I don't like it, but I get it. But third generation Cuban Americans are like, the fuck no, he's no better than Castro. Right. The Castro y'all hate, what do you think he is? So, like, well, one of my boys, he says he has this conversation with his parents all the time. He's like, yeah, they fled Castro. Like, they have real pain associated with Castro, like killing their grandparents or his grandparents, right? And it's like, you realize the same dude you hate over there, y'all just helped elect over here. And it's like, well, no, they always protected us. It's like, no, they gave you sanctuary. They didn't protect you. There's a difference. Right. And like, different, like you said, different cultures, different, like even within the different spectrums of Latino, even within the different spectrums of blackness, there's different cultural things that can help you discern why they may lean one way or another. African immigrants coming to America, while they also suffered at the hands of American white supremacy, they don't have that they may not have that personal connection to American white supremacy that we have. Well, they may feel more connected to European white supremacy, right? Like, especially North Africans. There's a lot of tension in North Africa with France, Germany, England, because they're migrating there for jobs and they're being treated like shit. So there's a real pain associated with them for that. But American white supremacy, they may not interact with as much. So they may not be as aware as someone who has spent their entire lifetime fighting it is.
Right. So. Yeah, and break that down, class, you always get the Negroes who think that, oh, I got some money now, I'm out of it. And I'm like, no, Negro, you're not. You're not. You can't buy your way out of this.
Respected Professor Skip Gates was arrested in his home because he might have been breaking into someone else's.
Never forget.
Oh, and never forget, the President of the fucking United States had to apologize to the cops for telling them that they did a bad job arresting a man in his house.
Never forget.
Like that. Like if that didn't show people that your respectability won't save you, then I don't know what will. The President of the United States had to invite people that arrested his friend in his home, had to apologize to them. Like, my God. They arrested him in his own home, and he had to apologize to them for saying, yeah, that was dumb.
Compare that to Dick Cheney shooting his friend in the face, and the friend apologizing to Dick Cheney for having his face in the way of his bullets.
Like, I think that's one of those things that we say and people think it's mimetic. It's an exaggeration. No, Dick Cheney held a press conference to make his friend apologize for being shot in the face by Dick Cheney.
Oh my God.
And he actually said something to the effect of, I was in the way, I should have moved.
Like you said, I think sometimes people think they were making this shit up, but I am so not making this shit up. That really, really legit.
I'm so glad YouTube exists, because you can actually YouTube Dick Cheney's friend shot in face press conference, and it comes up, and you're like, oh my God, he actually made his friend apologize for getting shot in the face.
He made his friend apologize for being shot in the face. It's just like, oh man, being white gotta be great, yo. All right, moving on. The Republicans, after spending 8 years of trying to repeal, 7 years of trying to repeal Obamacare and telling us how it's not right, finally come up with their own plan for replacing Obamacare.
And it's the world's greatest healthcare plan.
I thought people were joking when they said that they were named it the world's greatest healthcare plan, but that is literally what the bill is named.
That's one of the main umbrella bills, like the American Health Care Act or something. But the bill offered by a Texas congressman is actually an amendment to that, or an addendum to that. It is called the world's greatest healthcare plan.
Because in case you didn't realize, their GOP is full of toddlers.
It's the world's greatest. It's going to be huge. Bigly.
They're fucking toddlers. So as you can imagine, 15, 20 million people will lose their health care and will not be insured. There is a great tax credit for healthcare CEOs out there. They're repealing this is an important one here. They're repealing the tax that Obama put on tanning salons, because that's important there. I don't know if I had the clip of it, but there was apparently there was a GOP senator or congressman or somewhere who said that he's not a doctor, but he doesn't think there's any. Well, I can't tell you whether tanning is linked to healthcare problems or not. I'm not a doctor. It's like, you're getting into a tanning booth and you're literally cooking yourself. I'm pretty sure that's not healthy, and you don't need to be a doctor to know that.
Well, I won't even go that far, but I'm not a doctor. Maybe you should consult a doctor? Have you asked the doctor? Like, maybe you should do that before you start making statements like, well, I don't think it's that bad. Well, what do the professionals say? Like, on the GOP and the American right, there is an aversion to ask the professional, right? Because I don't want to feel stupid. Look, there's some stuff that I just don't know. I have no problem asking people smarter than me. Like, yo, what am I supposed to do here?
Maybe, I don't know, maybe ask. I don't,
Yeah.
It was like Scott Pruitt came out and said, the head of the EPA came out and said that he can't say that there's just no evidence and proof that CO2 is a direct contributor to climate change. And literally everybody in the world was like, Are you fucking like even
the
people,
entire world looked at him and said, "Nigga, what?"
Even people who are climate change deniers go, "Oh, I wouldn't go that far." Like that's
like no, literally the entire world looked at him and said, "Nigga, what?"
Like they call us liberal elitists just because it's like, well, no, science.
I'm about to say, I like my science. I like my white papers.
Like they're like, well, why do you believe that? Science, facts. Well, you liberal or elitist? It's like, well, it's science, it's facts. It's like,
this is what happens when you elect a C student, right? George W. Bush, he was proud. I'm a C student. I'm average like you. I don't want no average nigga running the country. I want a member of the Harvard Law Review as the president.
I never understood that. I'm like, I feel like I could have a beer with this president. I don't want to have a beer with the president. He has the nuclear codes. He shouldn't even be fucking drinking, to be perfectly honest, right? Like, think about that. Like, let's think about this. All right, if I was to go drinking and try to get in my car, people are like, whoa, Chris, whoa. You can't drink and drive. You can't do that. You can't drink. It's your night off. You can't drink. The president, nobody, like, there's a guy who can literally have the nuclear codes, and he's like, oh fuck it. No, I can have a beer with him. That's good enough. Like,
I do not want to feel like I could have a beer with my president, because if I feel I could have a beer with him, he'll probably order a well-done steak after the beer.
With ketchup.
I don't know if you remember that story about Trump at the Mar-a-Lago during the North Korean crisis.
Oh God, yeah.
Consider this: he is at his private business. He cranked up the the membership dues. It's my Southern White, and I can't believe the media is actually buying this. It's his Southern White House. Like, fuck, he's this private business, and he's using the presidency to profit off of it. That is a felony. Like, you go to jail for that. You're not supposed to. I'm going to be calm. Anyways, that's happening while he's eating and drinking with the Japanese prime minister, and a literal nuclear crisis occurs. And they're bringing him this information while he's drinking. Like, I'm reading the article and, like, the breakdown and everything that's happening. I'm like, you guys aren't paying enough attention to the fact that you said he was drinking, and they brought him the nuclear codes while he was drinking. Like, not enough attention is being paid to this fact right here. Like, that's scary. Like, I read that. I had to read it twice to make sure. I was like, no, he was drinking, and he had nuclear codes in his hand.
In high school, you wouldn't allow a C student to run the projector, all right? You wouldn't. Like, the AV club, you had to have a certain amount of, you had to have a certain credit and a certain grade to be in the AV club to do that shit, all right? You wouldn't allow a C student to run the projector. But we're going to give a C student the nuclear codes.
We're going to give a dropout
the nuclear codes, all right? Think on that today, all right? So anyway, back to the healthcare stuff, right? So the Republicans are out here trying to tell us how much greater their healthcare plan is for the country than Obamacare, and honestly, they're just completely failing at it because it's actually as terrible as you would think it would be. And so here is, I think this is Rick Santorum telling us about. Here's the thing: when you get the argument between the GOP and the Democrats, and again, look, I know people are like, "Hey, Democrats are going to push for single payer," and I get that. Maybe Democrats didn't go far enough to the left. I get that. I'll take Democrats though over the GOP because the Democrats, at least, even if you think they're just pretending to care about people's health,
they at least follow through with pretending. The GOP literally only gives a fuck about cutting costs. And there are two things if there's one thing I don't want to hear when it comes to my healthcare is cutting costs. Like, can you imagine you're going under for surgery, right? And you're about to go under and they're starting to count back from 5. And oh, by the way, we're going to do this surgery on the cheap. You're going to freak the fuck out, right? Doing healthcare to cut costs kills people, all right? Keep this in mind as we go through some of this shit. So here's Rick Santorum telling us about millions of Americans.
One or the other. You either cut off populations of care to save money, you cut services to save money, or you cut the reimbursements to health providers who will then drop out of the system. It doesn't work.
Yeah, the other big problem is there's things they can't change through reconciliation, like pre-existing condition. We saw it's very popular. But you know, right now we have what the reality is today, that thousands, maybe approaching millions of Americans are paying 9 months for insurance. Why? Because you pay for your insurance for 9 months. There's a provision in Obamacare that says you can't be thrown off your plan for 3 months. So you stop paying in September. You can't get thrown off your plan to the end of the year. You have a right to guaranteed issue because of no pre-existing condition. And so you buy a new plan in January. So people are paying 9 months for 12 months of care. And it's happening more and more and more as people get the gig. Obamacare is a failure, but you're going to need 60 votes to change pre-existing condition, other things to make the system.
Wait, so let me get this straight.
Human scrotum, Rick Santorum.
Human scrotum, Rick Santorum. So you're telling me there's a problem with only paying for health insurance for 9 months? I don't see what the problem is.
His basic argument is, oh, you have a pre-existing condition, so you can scam the healthcare system. Like, that's the argument he's trying to make. He's trying to make it's a scam. You only pay for health insurance 9 months at a time, and it's not fair because you have a pre-existing condition. It's not fair that I can't charge you exorbitantly for your pre-existing condition. That's the argument he's making.
The GOP are a bunch of assholes.
Yes.
Like,
did you get a chance to hear Paul Ryan?
No, I got him next. So
okay.
We have the lovely Paul Ryan here, who's going to explain to us about healthcare. Let's see if I can get this full screen here. All right. No, because we want to get it all the way here. So let's get some Paul Ryan here who really explains it to us.
How do you protect people with pre-existing conditions? I think this is probably one of the most important issues of them all. Here is basically what happens today. Under the current system, we have costs driving up. On the current system, options are going away, as I just described. Choices are fleeting, prices are going up, and under the current system, the fatal conceit of Obamacare is that we're just going to make everybody buy our health insurance at the federal government level. Young and healthy people are going to go into the market and pay for the older, sicker people. So the young, healthy person's going to...
Just want to pause it there and just tell you that what Paul Ryan just described here is every insurance policy in the world.
That's how insurance works.
Like, if you have car insurance, if you have a car, you're supposed to have car insurance. The good drivers pay for the bad drivers. That is how it works.
That's the only way it works. Keep in mind, Paul Ryan is supposed to be the smart one. Paul Ryan is the policy wonk. And here's Paul Ryan demonstrating a fundamental, like, he does not understand how insurance works on a fundamental level.
That's how it's supposed to work, you dumbass.
Right, so your choices here. You can do this one of two ways. You can do this as the penalty or the tax, the way Obamacare did it, which is the least painful way. Or you do it the way that Paul Ryan is. I think he may allude to it in this clip. If he doesn't, then I'll explain how Paul Ryan wants to do it. And it is the most batshit insane thing you're going to hear involving
made to buy health care, and they're going to pay for the person, who gets breast cancer in her 40s or who gets heart disease in his 50s. So take a look at this chart. The red slice here are what I would call people with pre-existing conditions, people who have real health care problems. The blue is the rest of the people in the individual market. That's the market where people don't get health insurance at their jobs, where they buy it themselves. The whole idea of Obamacare is the people on the blue side pay for the people on the red side. The people who are healthy pay for the people who are sick. It's not working, and that's why it's an...
Here's the other problem with this idea of how I was explaining this is, you can get breast cancer in your 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
You only need health insurance. Technically, it's not even that. You don't only need... Like, there's a thing called preventive care. So you technically should, if you have health insurance, you should get checkups, yearly checkups, monthly checkups. So not monthly checkups, but regular checkups. You should be able to do preventive cares to help catch you when you do get things like cancer or, hey, something happens. Hey, if you're a healthy person, you might be active. I know I was. Guess what? I played basketball. Guess what happened? I ruptured my Achilles. I was a very healthy young man. I ruptured my Achilles. If I was not on my parents' insurance right then, at that point while I was in college, those bills I got for the MRI and the surgery afterwards were thousands of dollars. All right. So this idea that somehow, if you're a healthy person, that's basically what you say. You're a healthy person. You don't even need health insurance. It's like, but you only need insurance
when you need
until
insurance.
you need it, and you don't know when you're going to need it. If you're a healthy person, you walk out of your house today, you trip and fall down the stairs, you break your ankle. Guess what you need? You need fucking health insurance because you're no longer a healthy person.
Right.
It's like, my girlfriend right now, she has a cold. She's very sick. There's a virus going around right now. She's sick. You're only not healthy. You're only healthy until you aren't. Like, this is an insane thing. Like, it's literally preying on people being too stupid to realize that, hey, you know what? At any point, you could be the same sick person you're laughing at.
And so that gets into how Paul Ryan justifies funding this thing, right? So his whole thing is if you don't need health insurance until you need it, right? So you're not going to get the health insurance. However, the penalty that the GOP wants to impose is if you don't have health insurance for X amount of time, I forget how long it is, when you sign up for your next plan, you have to pay a 30% surcharge to the company, not the federal government, to the company that you sign up with.
The same companies that are getting huge tax breaks to their CEOs.
Yes, that same company. So quick human relations story, right? So right before we got married, we're doing the hey, I want to look good in my wedding photos thing. So we're all working out. Tiff is a fairly healthy person. Over the course of that, she started feeling weird. She's like, I feel weird. I'm like, guess what? I was working for the federal government at that time. I was like, shit, I got that good health insurance. Just go get a checkup.
Right.
That's nothing. Like they cover everything except like a $10 copay. Like, go get a checkup. It's nothing. They found out that she had a hole in her heart. So, we went to a bunch of specialists. First, they said, it's no big deal. We'll just do like a minor procedure. Takes about an hour. You'll be fine. They find out that the hole is bigger than that. And it's like, no, we have to do like open heart surgery to fix this. So this is all before the wedding. So like 3 open heart surgeries back to back to back before the wedding. The bill for that was like almost $100,000 for all of those surgeries. Imagine if we had to do that without health insurance. Like, literally, Obamacare saved Tiffany's life. But now imagine if that had happened under this new system and we didn't have access to that health care. Or like we did the things that Paul Rand is encouraging. Oh, you're healthy. You don't need to pay into it. Well, guess what? I'm not healthy now, right? Like, you're healthy until you're not. Now I'm not healthy, and now I'm staring at $100,000 in surgeries. And like they come to collect.
Oh, listen, even when because at one point I was on my mom's insurance, but when I first went to when I first went to the emergency room, I didn't have my mom's insurance card with me. So they eventually got it worked out so that it all went underneath there. But those there are a lot of places that let you give you grace periods for things. Healthcare is not one of them.
Oh, no.
They will send those bills regularly and frequently, and they have no problem putting you in fucking collections as soon as possible.
Right.
They want their fucking money, and it's weird seeing how like everything else, like you're like just the way it works out. I usually pay my cable bill just a little bit late, like a few days late, because like I get paid on Friday. My bill usually comes in on like a Wednesday, so I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta wait until Friday, right? No problem. I can actually wait like 2 or 3 billing cycles before they really like, yo, all right, dude, we need, hey, we need our money.
Right.
Just please, like they give you 3 choices like Stewie, right?
You
right.
Money?
So you got my money? Hey, no rush. We'll come back later, right? Healthcare, they do not do that shit. Right? They come for you.
And this is why having health insurance, and this is why Obamacare was so important, because when you start getting those nasty collection letters, you send that to your insurance, be like, hey, I thought you guys were covering this, and they interact with them for you, right? Like, there is a stress associated. I don't think people understand this. There is a stress. It is stressful when someone sends a bill to your door and that shit says $100,000.
Look, the first few bills I got after my surgery, I was like, I saw that. I was like, what the I have insurance, though. Because even if you have insurance, they take your insurance. Sometimes they fuck up or they mess up and they just send the bill to you. Because they're like, I don't care who pays it. Somebody paying it. We have your information. You fucking pay it. And so you have, like you said, you have to forward it to your insurance company, stuff like that. But still seeing, you get a bill with your name on it that says $100,000 on it.
Yeah, like luckily, so I see the bill, I freak out. I'm like, okay, I call the insurance. They're like, oh, yeah, no, they sent you that as a courtesy, right?
That's not a courtesy, damn it.
I'm just like, what do you mean a courtesy? Oh, no, we're handling it. They just want, as part of our process, we want it to be completely transparent. Right. So we show you the whole process so you know.
I don't want to see that shit.
No,
I don't want to see that shit.
I was like, look, I appreciate, y'all are doing a great service. In the future, you might want to warn them that that's coming, because I saw that bill that said $100,000. I was like, what the fuck? They're like, oh, no, we're covering it. We're actually talking with them. Right. You're good. We just wanted to let you know. No, I don't want to know. Actually, listen, that's why I got you.
I've opened my share of healthcare bills on some. What the fuck is this shit? And it ruins your entire day. You call them immediately. So you guys are paying for this. What's going on? And yeah, it's a problem. So yeah, again, Paul Ryan doesn't have to worry about that because again, Congress has its own health insurance.
Congress has excellent health care.
Yeah, they have a nice health care. So you know what I would believe? I think that if any plan the GOP comes up with for this, they have to also use.
Well, so that's the gag, right? Anything that they put forward, every reporter should ask them, will you give up your health care for this? Mm-hmm. And they do not let them get out of that without answering yes or no.
Yeah.
You have to say, will you give up your health care for this current plan?
Shit, I ain't stupid.
Here's how we propose to tackle this problem. We want to have a system where we encourage states with federal funding to set up risk pools and reinsurance mechanisms. So, for example, in Wisconsin, we had a great risk pool that actually worked so that people with real high health care costs and diseases and pre-existing conditions could still get affordable health care. Well, Obamacare repealed that. They had a great risk pool reinsurance system in Utah, a good one in Washington State. All those are gone under Obamacare. Here's how they work.
So Paul Ryan's leaving out why Obamacare repealed it. It repealed it because it was a layer of redundancy that was not needed, right? Like those reimbursement funds and those emergency funds aren't needed under Obamacare because you're now getting that money directly to the person instead of the state to dole out to who they see fit, right? Like, that's the gag. They say, oh, we had all these great things that Obamacare repealed. Yeah, because they're now being moved to a federal level, and it was like a direct interaction between federal and person. We don't need you anymore. We're removing redundancy. We're actually making government smaller. Isn't that what you guys say you wanted?
Yeah, sure. Sure. Smaller government. What's that? Says the GOP.
And here's how our system would work. We would directly support the people with pre-existing conditions. Let me give you a sense of this. 1% of the people in these markets drive 23% of the costs. 1% of the people in the individual health insurance market drive 23% of the costs. So a reassurance program is to cover more than just the 1%, to cover the people who have high health care costs. So by having state innovation funds to go to the states to set up these reinsurance programs, we would directly subsidize the people who have pre-existing conditions. Direct support for the people with pre-existing conditions so that everybody else has cheaper.
That's not how insurance works. Well, actually, it kind of is how insurance works, but like you pay that. Like we know we're all paying. Like I know my car insurance, I'm paying for the bad drivers.
Yeah, that's,
like that. A matter of fact, I believe I can't remember if it's e-insurance or somebody's now saying it's Allstate, right? They had the commercial about the rate suckers because they're talking about how if you use a little Progressive has a little thing they use. They're now trying to give you as a good driver benefits because they know that most of your costs are coming in the form of bad drivers. So that's the whole thing with car insurance. The GOP is now acting like that shit doesn't happen in healthcare and that is different. It's like, no, they're literally picking, they're literally telling us to pick whether you want to be healthy or not. It's just, it's very fucking frustrating, man.
And so the GOP is making this push because it gets expensive for the healthcare providers to provide for everyone. Mm-hmm. So that's why they're making these lobbying push to say, yo, if we can get all these healthy people off and only focus on the people that actually need it, that's less overhead for us. And then when those healthy people try to come on, we get a 30% surcharge. That's more profit for us. Right? Like the whole thing is just trying to get the rich richer. It's funny. The GOP believes in trickle down for economics, the 1% trickle down to the rest. But when it comes to healthcare, no, there's no trickle down for the 1% of pre-existing conditions for healthcare. That coverage shouldn't trickle down to you because you don't need it. You're healthy.
Final stuff in our healthcare debate and stuff, and then we'll move on. Well, it's not even healthcare debate, just healthcare news, and then we'll move on to our great moments and white privilege and then our black woman shout out to get ready to get out of here. But last one in, who is I'm finding to be the most despicable person in the House right now, Jason Chaffetz. Is he on like the House like oversight committee or something like that?
He's on oversight or Ways and Means.
It's something like that. Something that he doesn't deserve to be on because he's literally a piece of shit.
Yeah.
He talks about how low-income Americans should buy healthcare rather than get a new iPhone because that's apparently how it works.
Act. Do you like what you've seen?
I do like what I see. Look, we campaigned on this. We assured the American people that if you put Republicans in charge, we would fix what is in a death spiral. The premiums are going up, I think 25% on average across the board in Arizona. Some of them are as close to 100%. Deductibles have gone up. Choice has gone down. A third, almost 1/3 of the counties in this country have only one choice. And so we've got to...
Because of what you guys did to try to cut and stop Obamacare.
Well, yeah, so again, that's the gag. Why did premiums rise? Why did costs rise? It rose for one reason. It rose because states kept opting out of Obamacare. States kept opting out of the funding, which would have helped drive those costs down.
Which I believe is one of the Supreme Court rulings was that they got rid of the mandate that says that that states had to opt in, right?
Right.
Yeah. So.
And that ruling was stupid because right after that ruling, what happened? States started opting out of it, and then as the CBO predicted, the CBO said, yo, if you guys do this, costs are going to go up. Costs went up. Well, okay, Obamacare is failing. Yes, because you're doing everything you can to systematically break it.
Health care in this country for the American people, and they elected us to solve and tackle difficult problems.
Some of the experts who've looked at the Republican replacement plan see problems with it. Here's the Kaiser Foundation, what they say about it yesterday. With Medicaid reductions and smaller tax credits, this bill would clearly result in fewer people insured than under the Affordable Care Act. The House GOP proposal seeks to reduce what the federal government spends on care, and that inevitably means more people uninsured. Does that worry you?
We're always worried, but what we want to do is make sure that people have access to the quality health care that they want. This does push it more out of Washington, D.C. and back to the American people. It does align financial incentives, particularly through the health savings accounts. It does limit and cap what we're doing with the states, but gives them more flexibility, which is what we heard the governors who were in town literally last week. They told us we want more flexibility. So there's a lot to like about this. And you know what I really like about it? We're going to do it in an open and transparent way, unlike what the Democrats did with the Affordable Care Act. Where
Like, I like how he just sits there and lies right at the back, because there's a whole thing with Paul Ryan last week trying to find out where they were making this bill, where they were putting this bill together at. They're doing the opposite of what he's saying right now. Like, him coming here and lying, saying we're doing it in an open and transparent way, they are not. They have actually started voting. The Ways and Means Committee has already voted on this and passed this. It still doesn't have a CBO score yet.
Well, no, and that was a conscious decision. They did not want. I think they passed something before this that said the CBO can't review it, because they knew if it got a CBO score, that score would be terrible. One interesting thing about Jason Chaffetz that I completely forgot about: he's an anti-vaxxer. Jason Chaffetz is an anti-vaxxer. So you have an anti-vaxxer is one of the more prominent proponents of Trump Care.
I have no words.
The world's greatest healthcare plan, guys.
World's greatest healthcare plan.
Slammed it through in less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
It's going to go through a markup.
That's not how it works. I'm also hating this claim that Obama somehow slammed through his healthcare plan. I remember that 10-hour meeting he had with House Republicans, with House and Senate Republicans on the healthcare plan to work this out.
Yeah,
10 hours. The president himself. Trump is nowhere near this bill.
This was when Obama believed you could actually work. This is when Obama believed that government worked.
Right.
And that, okay, this is what government does. You have both sides. They have enlightened debate. And I don't know if this is when he realized that they just hate your black ass, but the timeline for Obamacare's inception to passing was like a year and a half.
Yes.
And they say, you rammed it through on Christmas. Yeah, because you guys stalled on debates until the last possible second. And then when you realized, oh shit, if we don't show up for debate, they can just all show up and vote on it without us being there. That's when you pulled that December 23rd bullshit, because you had bullshitted up until December 23rd.
They're terrible, guys.
Like a lot of the GOP revisionism leaves out that a lot of this stuff that they complain about is self-inflicted. Right. They did it themselves, and they did it to themselves.
2 committees of jurisdiction that'll offer amendments, and we'll have this debate over the next several weeks.
What if it leaves lower-income Americans uninsured?
Well, we want them to be able to have a method so they can get access to it. There are things that we really do like, for instance, dealing with pre-existing conditions, allowing people up to the age of 26 to stay on that. Yeah, get rid of these arbitrary lines of states.
Sure.
So I think there's a lot of good things that we can do.
But access for lower-income Americans doesn't equal coverage.
Well, we're getting rid of the individual mandate. We're getting rid of those things that people said that they don't want. And you know what? Americans have choices, and they've got to make a choice. And so maybe rather than getting that new iPhone that they just love and they want to go spend hundreds of dollars on that, maybe they should invest in their own health care. They've got to make those decisions themselves.
So, in other words, for lower-income Americans, you're saying that this is going to require some sacrifice on their part.
Well, we got to be able to actually lower the cost of health care. I mean, one of the things we're concerned about is health care inflation is just consuming the American budget.
All right.
Remember the story I just told about surgeries resulting in over $100,000, right? If what he's saying is you put that $300 into a health savings account, do you know how many years you would have to save in order to cover something like that? Right? Like, this shit ain't, it's not just like, it's a $50 checkup, $75 checkup. A major health, like one of the biggest causes of bankruptcy pre-Obamacare was health care. Right? Like not having access to health.
So it wasn't buying an iPhone.
No. You know what? I can look at the numbers now, but I don't think iPhones or Jordans are the leading cause of bankruptcy.
Interesting.
Because like one major health incident through no fault of your own, right? Like it could be an accident. It could be something that you just didn't detect until it was too late, which again, it's not your fault. Shit happens. That can destroy you economically. Like again, I want you guys to remember that story I just told. To save my wife's life cost over around $100,000, right? What the fuck is an iPhone going to do for that? Pile that on top of student loan debt, because a lot of our generation was sold the American dream: graduate high school, graduate college, get a job. Well, to go to college, it's a lot more expensive than it used to be. We don't have the GI Bill that the greatest generation of baby boomers had to fall back on.
The greatest generation.
Right? Like, we don't have federally funded college education like y'all did. So we have to pay for it out of pocket, which means you have to take these loans out, which can go upwards to like $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 that we're paying off for the rest of our lives. So, like, we're saddled with all this debt. By the way, here's a health incident. Now you're paying tens of thousands of more dollars because we had to save your life. Right? Like, there's a story about someone who they had an accident. You know, they needed emergency care, so the ambulance came, and they didn't want to get in the ambulance because they know they charge you for the ambulance ride.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, people didn't. Some people don't know that, but yeah, they charge you for the ambulance ride.
So that's where we are. So if you're saying, "Oh, okay, you can either pay for an ambulance ride or pay for your iPhone," that ambulance ride is like
even doing things like getting an X-ray or MRI sometimes. So those are expensive.
Yeah,
and those are necessary. Yeah, preventive care. Yeah, it's just it adds up. And this idea that you just don't buy an iPhone, right? Just Justin's seeing the.
Oh my God.
He's seeing the great moment of white privilege for this week, and he's flipping it on the screen. But yeah, no, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. And this is what you're seeing. You're seeing the GOP, and all they talk about whenever you bring up, isn't this going to kick more people off their insurance? And they keep notice their language. We're making sure people have access.
I mean,
access.
I have access to a mansion.
Yeah.
Can I afford the mansion?
Hey, look, and before the Civil Rights Act, we had access to buses. We had access to lunch counters and things like that, but we weren't allowed there. We had access to it, but could we do it? Could we use it? And it also something we couldn't. We didn't have the same equality that the whites had. So this whole access thing, I'm really glad that the reporter there, the host there, called him on that. It's like, but access doesn't mean the same for lower income people, and they immediately go to cost. It's good. It's important to know here as we go through this healthcare debate, the GOP only cares about cutting costs. And like I said at the beginning of this, when it comes to healthcare, cutting costs, like the GOP is saying, gets people killed.
It's not cutting costs for you, the customer. It's cutting costs for the healthcare providers,
yes.
The insurance companies. That's who they're cutting costs for. Not you. That surgery's still gonna run you those 10 stacks, those 20 stacks, right? Like that's just is what it is. But what it does cut down on is how much the healthcare providers have to pay for that.
Hey, listen, they're getting that nice tax credit there. So, and also Trump doesn't want to call it Trump Care, but
we don't call.
So we're gonna call it Trump Care.
So, like, I don't know why he said that, right? Like, at least don't call it Trump Care. So we're gonna call it from now on, right?
Right. We're like, well, you weren't. Like, it's funny. They're going. I think the White House is going. We'll call it Ryan Care, and Ryan Care. They're like, well, no, call it Trump Care. It's like
when Paul Ryan's office said that President Trump needs more credit. What was it? Because they said call it Ryan Care. And his office said something to the effect of that negates the great role that President Trump had in crafting this bill. So the gossip on Capitol Hill is Paul Ryan doesn't like Donald Trump.
Of course he doesn't.
Reince Priebus also doesn't like Donald Trump, but he is the only buffer between Trump and the GOP Congress.
But not only that, but you got to remember the GOP at this point. I'm trying to see when the bottom falls out of this. The GOP putting party over country. I think it's going on. It's obviously gone on way too long and way too far. I'm waiting to see if they ever find their spine, because none of them seem to. Like, people keep calling John McCain a maverick, but he hasn't done anything mavericky at all.
He has nice sound bites.
Yeah, nice sound bites, but fuck him. I
don't think that bottom ever falls out, because Steve Bannon almost came to fisticuffs with Reince Priebus, and Reince Priebus is still there.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm sorry. There are a few people in life that I'm going to let physically punk me. I'll be goddamned if I let that battle-toad ward Steve Bannon try to put hands on me. I'll be like, we can fight Steve Bannon. Like, you are not. How do you get punked by Steve Bannon? Like, I want you to seriously answer this question. How do you get punked by Steve Bannon?
Yeah.
Like you got to see that man at that point. Like you can't walk around the office being the dude that got.
Well, here's the thing. When I know how. Same way you let Trump call you shit on you as a war hero, and John McCain, or you literally have Trump come at your wife, Ted Cruz, or claim that your father was responsible for JFK's assassination. Listen, these people are literally selling their souls to Trump. They have no fucking spine. Fuck all of them. Like look at Marco Rubio. Like little Marco. Bruh, I would fight Trump. Like Secret Service wouldn't be able to say.
There are 3 people. I can think of 3 people who should every day be like, you just got to shoot me the fair one. Jeb Bush. He's
the only one. If you notice at this point, has basically been like, I don't want nothing to do with Trump. He's the only one.
Right. Marco Rubio. Mm-hmm. But top on that list, Ted Cruz came at your wife and said your father killed President Kennedy, and you brought your kids around him.
Yo, I forgot about that. Ted Cruz had dinner at the White House with his wife and his kids, and his kids were there playing with the stuffed giraffe. Like, are you like?
If they ask, what do you think of President Trump? Fuck that dude. He talked about my wife.
Yo, no, this might be Ted Cruz might be on some Latino in distress shit now.
Like, he might be in distress.
He might be in distress. Like I'm just saying.
Like, dog, I feel like if anyone in the GOP could get media cover for not falling in line with Trump, it would be Cruz. Because Raphael he's not Ted until, like, no, your mama called you Raphael, your name is Raphael Ted.
Come on, man. Like,
you let him come at your wife and your family, and you gonna have dinner with. Did you spike his drink? Did you slip him a little X? Did you do something to him?
Like,
did you give him a chocolate pie?
I don't get it, man. I'm not understanding how these people can do this and not say anything. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
No, it's like Debo. I got mind control over Debo. When he be gone, I'll be talking. But when he here, I'll be quiet.
I don't get it, man. Like, how there's no way that I would allow that to happen, man. I just couldn't do it.
No, we got to fight. Like, the next debate, it's like, I mean, if we have a debate, I get to punch you. Like, it's not a debate, it's a fight, because we're going to fight. And I feel like, I think the media would be shocked, but then I think a lot of it would be like, but I get it though. I mean, he talked about your wife. You gotta do what you gotta do.
So, you know how we were talking about, we haven't seen Donald Rumsfeld and we haven't seen Dick Cheney and Ben Carson in the same place.
Yeah.
Have we seen Donald Rumsfeld and Ted Cruz together?
I mean, we haven't.
Just saying. Just keep that in mind. Watch Get Out and then get back to me. All right.
All right.
So we're gonna do that. All right. Time for our great moments in white privilege time. Gotta get the music going for this one because it's gonna be a special one here. All right, great moments in white privilege here. I'm going to go ahead and share this screen because I'm hoping that we get some audio from video with this stuff. Megyn Kelly wants to be the new Oprah.
Like, what? I just looked over and I just saw the headline. I was like, what the fuck? Megyn Kelly?
Hard-bitten newswoman Megyn Kelly.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Wants to be NBC's answer to Oprah Winfrey. And is thinking to ditch hard news in favor of helping people when she signs on at the network for a new job, according to the report in page 6 today.
We all remember virulent racist Megyn Kelly, right? Like, we all remember Michael Brown was a thug. Tamir Rice shouldn't have been in that neighborhood that he lived in. Like, we remember this Megyn Kelly, right? Like, this Megyn Kelly, this Megyn Kelly, this Megyn Kelly. Get the fuck out of here.
The no-nonsense Fox News star who jumped from Fox to NBC in a deal worth between $12 million and $15 million. God damn it, I can't believe they're paying this racist this much. And is due to debut on the Peacock Network in the fall. Was an interviewer chosen by Fox to referee a GOP debate in which she pursued a tough line of questioning against then-candidate Donald Trump.
Like, I think Megyn Kelly gets a lot of credit for that. That wasn't because she's a hard-hitting news person. That's because she doesn't like Donald Trump. And that's why she got forced out of Fox for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
The main one of those being Fox was getting in line with Donald Trump. She didn't want to do that, and she had let too much other shit slide before then. She was like, you know what, whatever. This was the line too far for her, right?
She also gets a pivotal figure in the takedown of Fox News founder Roger Ailes, and yeah. So
wait, which one? Who at the top?
That was Greta Carlson.
Huh?
I'm sorry. Were you about to say?
So it may have been Greta because one of them has a pending.
That's Greta, who also apparently might be moving to NBC.
No, she's there already. She's there already. I was flipping channels and I'm like, hey, Greta Van.
No, that's Greta Van Sant. I'm talking about Greta Carlson. That's the one that used to be on Fox and Friends. The blonde, the dumb blonde. Because they always have a dumb blonde on Fox and Friends.
Right.
She was the original dumb blonde on Fox and Friends.
So she's the one that had the
pending suit, I believe.
Yes.
So she might be apparently coming over to MSNBC is literally trying to turn into Fox News at this point.
The mass unblackening.
Yes, they're doing the mass unblackening, and they're now taking all of the racist white women from Fox News. Like the only person on Fox News I would actually bring over to MSNBC, Shep Smith.
Yo, I want to read his book.
Yeah, Shep
because Shep had. I don't know what kind of deal he has with Fox, but they haven't fired him yet.
And and he tries everything in the world to be fired.
He's trying.
He knows where the bodies are buried.
That's why I want to read his book when it comes out.
He knows where the bodies are buried. Because Shep is the only one that has any integrity over there. And maybe a little bit, to a lesser extent, Chris Wallace. Like, if those two had moved over, I would kind of possibly be like, Shep, okay, Chris Wallace, I don't have a problem. Chris Wallace he just white bread him.
I feel like Chris Wallace's stand comes not out of a sense of integrity, but a sense of personal slight. He personally feels slighted, so that's why he takes these stances. That just so happen to align with my beliefs.
Yeah. But Greta, Megyn Kelly, like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, these are women who were literally the dumb blondes and the dumb women of Fox News. All right? And they would do everything they possibly could to throw feminism, black people, Latinos, anybody of color under the bus. And MSNBC is paying them millions of dollars to come over and somehow be reformed?
So I just typed into Google Megyn Kelly because I wanted to get like Megyn Kelly racist. It auto-completed to Megyn Kelly racist quotes. Like auto-complete. Like,
read a few.
This is who this woman is. That time she assured all little children that Santa is white.
That was recent.
God, I remember that. She's like, it's okay. Santa Claus is white. It's okay, kids. He's not a penguin. He's white. She blamed Sandra Bland's death on her own non-compliance. So remember Sandra Bland, the black woman who was pulled over by the police illegally. So after she was illegally stopped by the police, she was arrested illegally. And she died in police custody. And Megyn Kelly blamed Sandra Bland for that. Even if you know a cop is in the wrong, comply and complain later. So comply or die. That Megyn Kelly wants to be the next Oprah. Comply or die. Objected to forcibly diversifying neighborhoods. What the fuck? They don't want unequal neighborhoods. They think too many communities are too white, too privileged, too many big McMansions, and they want to diversify communities whether the communities want it or not. What the fuck? Hold on. I'm going to read this again. Megyn Kelly. They don't want, quote, unequal neighborhoods, unquote. Unequal neighborhoods. They think too many communities are too white, too privileged, with too many big McMansions, and they want to diversify communities whether the communities want it or not. Holy shit. That is the literal segregationist argument. Like, what year was this that she said this?
Last year, probably.
Like, oh shit, you're right. In 2016, Megyn Kelly is making a segregationist argument.
I was just taking a blind guess, but I'm telling people, like, she's not a newly reformed person. She was racist just last week. All right, like this is somebody who is still a known racist. All right, this is like, you know what this is like. This is like if MSNBC brings on Glenn Beck now. It's like,
yeah. She also said Michelle Obama is whining when she speaks out about racism.
That makes sense.
This is my personal favorite. The Department of Justice investigation of the Ferguson Police Department, which uncovered all of those racist emails. Megyn Kelly, totally normal.
It happens, you know.
Megyn Kelly said, the Department of Justice being unreasonable. It's not that bad.
No, it's not.
Megyn Kelly, Ferguson police sympathizer, wants to be the new Oprah. And MSNBC is going to try to make that happen.
Everybody deserves a second chance, Why not?
Yeah. Where's Martin Bashir these days, by the way? Since everybody deserves a second chance. Where's Martin Bashir these days?
Oh, yeah. Who fucking knows where he's at, you know. What happened to him again?
He said, oh, God, I'll find the exact quote, but he said something to the effect of Sarah Palin is stupid.
Oh, yeah.
I think he may have said, like, damn, there was I think there was a cuss word in there somewhere, but he said something about Sarah Palin and he's been fired. He's been disgraced.
Yeah, hasn't been back since. Yeah. Funny how that works. So. All right, let's move on. Wrap this up. We are now on to our Black Woman shout out of the week. Like I said, we're getting so many of them. We're doing 2 this week. The first one is the Black Girl Squee podcast. This is a bi-weekly podcast that's dedicated to the celebration and achievement of Black girls and women. The hosts are Inda and I'm not sure if I'm missing an I there, or it's supposed to be India, and Didi. And you can find their episodes at blackgirlsquee.simplecast.fm. I'll make sure I put that in the show notes for you guys. See, they also have a Tumblr, is blackgirlsquee.tumblr.com. Check them there. The second one there, and I also have I'll have their email address and their Twitter accounts. I'll put that in the show notes for you guys. Also, we have a new one. I don't think we've ever had an editing firm. We have Harrison Editing Firm by Marquetta. It is a professional editing company that caters to authors at every level, and we are currently looking for some new clients. Some of our more popular services include copy editing, proofreading, and beta rating. Our prices are very competitive, and we offer a 10% discount off new clients for their first project with us. You can go to harrisonedit.com for a totally free instant quote. And again, that'll her email and the website will be on the show notes for them. So again, I always ask my host, my guest for the day, if they have a Black woman shout out. So Justin, do you have anyone you want to shout out?
I do have a Black woman shout out for the day. So the day we're recording this, PAX East is going on in Boston, and there is a panel creating a safe space for Black girl gamers. So I would like to shout out Janae Benet, Jan Lopez, Akua Harris, and our own personal friend of mine, Seeker, Asia. They're all at the panel. I think the panel just wrapped, so I'll check social media to see how everyone enjoyed it. But yes, the Black Girl Gamer is creating a safe space in gaming. Jan Lopez, she created the Black Girl Gamer Facebook group. Janae Benet is a Black Girl Twitch streamer. Akua, she's also another streamer, and Seeker's a streamer as well. Shout out to y'all. Y'all doing a great work, and we appreciate it because someone's got to hold it down for us.
Yep. So there you guys have it. Again, if you want to reach out and you want to get your business promoted, again, if you've already submitted, we're going to get to you. We're just doing them in order. We have a lot coming in. Email us at bwbusiness@mtrnetwork.net. Again, basically, you can send us your media kit, send us images, and there's basically a little a blurb about your business, basically what you want us to promote on the show for how people can reach you and things like that. All right. So, yeah, I think that's it. And I think it's about time to wrap this up, man. We did about 2.5 hours here.
That's solid.
No, we did a solid time. Cut some things out, and we'll get them in next week. But very solid show. And Justin, thank you very much for joining me on this one, man. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show and get us in there. Tell people where they can find you. 'Cause I know, hey, I didn't talk about this at the beginning of the show. I want to talk about it now. You guys got a lot of stuff going on over there at 3 Fifths Podcast, man. You're doing a lot of new stuff.
Yeah. So I brought it up last time I was on the show. Rolling 12s. We just did the first 5 parts of the first episode of Rolling 12s. We did a fiasco playthrough. Are up there live. We had a lot of fun doing it. We're on hiatus until either this Wednesday or next Wednesday, where we're going to launch we did a Fate Core tabletop RPG. We recorded it, and that playthrough will go live, like I said, either this Wednesday or next Wednesday. We brought back the extra fifths, so we have a lot of interviews coming up. Another interview launched with Tanya from I Need Diverse Games that launched today. Then we have a lot of other interviews coming up. I think we're going to go on hiatus in April for that. Then we have the regular show. We're bringing back the Steven Universe recaps. It's been busy. And I think once I see Get Out, we'll probably do a special episode to talk about Get Out.
You're going to do a special episode to talk about Get Out.
Oh, okay.
It's going to happen. So, now, man, it was funny. I was just thinking about this. I was talking about this with Karen and everybody. It's amazing seeing how so many of us Black podcasters have evolved our shows and how we've gone around. Man, it's like we've done so much, and which always funny to me. You always hear people talking about the oversaturation of podcasting, but what I love about everybody that at least in our circles here is we've all found our own little like avenues so that, yeah, there's overlap. There's always going to be overlap with certain things we talk about, things like that. But we found so many different angles and things to talk about. Like, nobody's really stepping on each other's toes. We're all these shows really complement each other. Like,
yes.
Like, there's some things people ask me, oh, we're going to do this? I'm like, fuck it. I know Rod or Justin. Somebody else is doing it, man. They got it. It's like, and I think that's a great way of building it. We're not all one network, but we're basically a podcasting family.
Yeah.
When you think about it, man, it's great.
And like you said, we're not stepping on anyone's toes. It's not, we don't see each other as competition.
Nope.
Right? Like we may push each other to be better, but it's not like I got to be better than this person.
Taking your listeners.
Right. Like, if anything, I would hope anyone that listens to my show definitely check out Black Guy Who Tips. Definitely check out the MTR Network. Definitely check out Where's My 40 Acres. I would hope that you listen to all of us, right? Like, listen to Unanimous Decision. Listen to the Rasslecast, right? Like, all of that. Everybody can eat.
Yeah. Yeah. It reminds me of that video of a dude with a little, the Bambi. With,
yeah, yo!
I think they're making like a little short film on him who feeds, the guy who feeds these little, the deer. He's like, everybody, his whole thing is, everybody can eat, yo.
So he brings up with the donut, that deer comes up to it, eats the donut. Everybody eats.
Right, everybody eats. Oh, man, so it's great, man. It's like I said, it's great seeing that and getting everybody there. So, yeah, man. Thank you very much for joining me on this one. Again, everybody, MTRnetwork.net. Search for MTR Network or search for the Insanity Check on iTunes. You can get us there. Again, all the shows we're at MTR Network. You have Insanity Check, Unanimous Decision, Super Tuesday Recap, Character Corner. You have the MTR Network, the Movie Trailer Reviews, just the reviews out there. All that stuff coming out. And like I said, get an MTR Premium account. A lot of shows coming out there now. We're going to have that Star Wars Rebel stuff coming out next week. We have another 2 episodes of Molecules and Shit coming soon. Docu-Drunks is coming out soon. And there's all the original shows as well. Like, we still got a Hell No Cupid. Still got Nostalgia Reviews. When Petty's feeling better, we'll get back to doing a Skipstalgia again. So right now, what I'm loving about this is I have so many options for shows I can do in a month that whatever fits, we'll do. And we'll get it out there. There's so much content coming out there, guys. Just stay tuned. And thank you guys very much for supporting. Until next time, we are out of here. Peace.